Pulsar Legionnaire available now. First outfit with special head animations and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or off.
What happened? Bye, friend. Hello, Earth. I'm here.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR and Jet Reaver glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new Guild set now.
Cybertron's future is near. Autobots, roll out! This planet reeks of weakness. Your courage reignites my spark. We'll crowd a new load of Cybertron. Roll for freedom. A victory for all sentient beings.
This land is calling.
Welcome to the PUBG Mobile World Cup.
준비한 것 같다라는 게 좀 있을까요?
그냥 유전적으로 저희가 더 다른 팀보다 잘하는 것 같아서 그냥 싸움 더 잘하는 게 좋은 것 같아요.
I think we're pretty much better in all the team fights than before, so I think that's going to be our key element.
Excellent. Really great stuff coming in from them. I'm super excited to see what they've got coming over the next few days, and we're excited. So, guys, tune in and see them do their thing.
Welcome back to PMWC at EWC 2025. I'm joined by none other than Hixie from Power Esports. Hixie, you guys had a little bit of struggles there during PMSL MENA Grand Finals. What happened?
Actually, there was like in the league stage, we were doing good because most of the team were giving us a lot of spaces. And we didn't find that in the finals. And we are improving that. And we spotted the mistakes that happened in the final. And I'm sure it will not happen in the PMWC.
I'm hoping it doesn't happen here at PMWC. There's so much at stake. Now, going on to the group stages, what is the goal for the team?
Actually, we want to gather as much experience. I don't care if we qualify from the beginning or not, but we need as much as experience to use it in the finals.
Okay. All right, Hixie here with the strategies. Thank you so much, man. Best of luck.
I went ahead and grabbed TT Global because I'm curious to know about what the fan support has been like for you boys coming into this event.
首先就想问一下 TT 战队这次来到电竞世界杯，你们粉丝对你们的支持是怎么样的呢？
就是希望我们这次能够在世界杯打出我们自己的风采吧，然后我们也会尽力去打好每一场比赛。对。
The fans are counting on us to be able to play our best to be able to deliver a performance to our own standards. So we'll do our best to try and not let our fans down.
And who do you think your biggest competition is going to be throughout this event?
你个人认为这次比赛当中，你们最强劲的对手会是谁呢？
我觉得这一次最强劲的对手是我们自己吧，因为我们之前在 PMGC 打得不是很好嘛，然后我们没有很好的执行
Welcome back to PMWC at EWC 2025. I'm joined by none other than RA.
Exciting and informative day it was.
It really was. We got some crazy answers and some crazy questions. I'm excited for what we've got next.
Well, let's find out because PMWC at EWC 2025, it's about to get started.
Oh, 2025 PMWC champions. That is a bit of a tough one, but if I had to predict one team, I think it would be...
No, we can't let them do this.
Yeah, cut.
Right, now that we got all of that under control, we have some epic days ahead for the 24 teams.
We definitely do. We have group stage, survival stage, and ultimately grand finals. $3 million prize pool. I think it's time, Nap. We start PMWC.
Welcome to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, a city where ancient tradition meets the future, and the battleground is set. This is the PUBG Mobile World Cup, one of the most thrilling global tournaments on the PUBG Mobile calendar. It's a stage where skill meets heart, and every match could be the one to change everything. 24 teams. One global battleground. These squads have fought their way from all corners of the world, earning their shot at glory on this massive stage. It's not just about who lands the first shot. It's about teamwork, clutch plays, and keeping your cool when the pressure is on. Only one team will rise to the top, claiming the trophy and the title of PUBG Mobile World Cup at the ESPORTS World Cup Champions, and all the glory that comes with it. This is where legends are made. This is the PUBG Mobile World Cup, and the battle starts now.
No competition is as ruthless as the ESPORTS World Cup. Its trophy system is no exception. The Club Championship Trophy, awarded to the one club that rose above the rest and reigned supreme across all EWC games. The Game Trophy, when a competitor closes their eyes, it's all they see, and it's not complete until it's sealed with a champion's key. Every participant earns a key engraved with their name. That's their right to compete. This year, returning champions hold a key unlike any other. Only one can place their key into the Game Trophy and become an EWC champion. The frame of the champion's key is embedded into the totem, a stone marker of legacy displaying every champion of the year. The keys of the eliminated will be crushed. The champions select 3 broken keys as a personal token, a reminder of who they have humbled. Beneath the totem, a resin block holds the remaining keys, a graveyard of fallen contenders. Will your dreams be broken or your name carved in golden stone? At EWC, nothing is granted. Everything is earned.
Welcome to the PUBG Mobile World Cup 2025 live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. My name is the 7WG, joined alongside Neptura.
Welcome in, everybody. We have 8 days of impressive gameplay coming in for you guys as these teams battle it out for one of the most prestigious mobile titles.
That's right, and it's not just the glory of lifting that trophy, it's being able to get a prize. A piece of the prize pool, the $3 million prize pool at PMWC.
Sure is, and in the meantime, we can expect some heart-stopping action, some impressive gameplay, and some top-tier strategies all to boot. So, 7, the pressure is on, but will they shine?
We don't know who's going to win it. Could it be maybe one of the dark horses? Could it be the defending champions Alpha 7? I'm excited to find out who's going to be the champion.
So am I. So prepare for this insane journey as we see all the global teams battle it out. But for now, let's go ahead and look at that format.
Get ready. The PUBG Mobile World Cup is about to kick off. From July 25th to August 3rd, the best teams from around the world are heading to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, for an all-out brawl in one of esports' biggest stages. So let's dive into how the tournament will unfold. First up, we've got the group stage, running from July 25th to 27th. 24 teams, split into 3 groups, red, green, and yellow, each playing on 2 of the 3 days. By the end of it, the top 8 teams storm into the grand finals, while the bottom 16 head into the survival stage for one last chance to stay in the game. The survival stage, happening July 29th and 30th. 16 teams, 12 matches, just 8 spots left in the grand finals. This is where every point matters. Every clutch can turn the tide, and every zone could be the difference between going home or moving on. And then it all comes down to this, the grand finals, the biggest stage, the final fight. From August 1st to 3rd, action-packed matches. It's a race to win it all. At stake, a massive prize pool, bragging rights, and the title of the PUBG Mobile World Cup at ESPORTS World Cup Champions. But there's a twist this year, the Smash Rule, an exciting new way to claim the championship title. It's not an easy path, but a team can secure the championship through it. Here is how it works. After day 2 concludes, the match point threshold is calculated by taking the total points of the first place team on the leaderboard and adding 10 points. Then on day 3, the Smash Rule comes into play. Starting then, any team that reaches the match point threshold must win a match to secure the championship. However, reaching the threshold and winning a match in the same game does not count. The win must come in a later match. And if no team wins through the Smash Rule after all 18 matches, then the champion will be crowned the traditional way, based on overall points. So lock in your calendars, rep your favorite squad, and get ready for one of the biggest PUBG Mobile tournaments ever, live from Riyadh. Welcome to the Qiddiya Arena, the hub of all of the action here for the PUBG Mobile World Cup at the ESPORTS World Cup. This magnificent setting will welcome supporters from around the world to cheer on their favorite teams and, of course, watch history being made, Blank.
But the drama is not done there. This mechanical contraption is the Key Crusher, the Key Devastator, the EWC Sandworm. And teams will be looking to throw the keys in here. Barney, will you be my lab assistant and show the people how this thing works?
Of course I will be. This crusher is honestly spectacular. I can't wait for you guys to see how it works fully when we're live.
First of all, we'll turn that key.
Engines on.
We'll flick that switch, Mission Impossible style.
Yes, we will. I won't flick it right now, but it will open the iris and it will just devastate all these keys and reveal the teeth.
And we won't be pressing that final button until we finish the survival stage, till we finish the finals.
I know, I can't wait for that to happen as well. But just remember, 24 teams will enter into this arena, and the fate of 23 of those keys will end in the crusher.
But the final leg will not be done there quite yet. After the winning team has the privilege of crushing 15 other keys in that finals, they will have the duty of lifting the PMWC trophy, which is stunning.
It really is stunning, and we cannot wait for all of you to see it. And we also can't wait for all of our teams to enter the arena.
Only one rules out rise above it all. Let's take a look at the club championships.
This is the ESPORTS World Cup Club Championship, the ultimate cross-game competition that will crown the best esports club in the world. Let's break down how it works. Clubs will be able to compete at the ESPORTS World Cup and as many titles as they can qualify for. The clubs will then earn points based on their placement in each title. To qualify for the club championship, a club will need a top 8 placement in at least 2 competitions. But to win the championship, a club must place first in at least 1 competition. At the end of the ESPORTS World Cup, The 24 clubs with the highest number of points will earn a share of the $27 million, with the winner taking home a staggering $7 million. And of course, the title of the best esports club in the world. Who will rise above and write their place in history? Watch it all here at the Esports World Cup.
Welcome, everybody, to the STC Club Championship update. I am Veracity, joined alongside the wonderful Reflection.
The wonderful already gassing me up. It's great to see you, Veracity. And look, Esports World Cup is incredible, and history is being made each and every week throughout the Esports World Cup in 2025. And the reason why is because we got the Club Championship trophy on the line. And look, the teams are competing not only for that coveted trophy, but also for the tremendous bragging rights.
You're darn right. You know what? We also have a $27 million prize pool throughout the entirety of our club championship, which is alone amazing. But first place walks away with a hefty $7 million to their name.
That's insane. And orgs, by the way, from around the world are competing for that very prize pool. And one of those teams is in first place. We're talking Vitality. 2,200 points is where they currently stand. They did so in last week's tournaments by getting a first and third place respective finish.
You know what, though? Let's not forget about Gen G Esports, who also walked away with a victory of their own. But the big target is on the backs of none other than our reigning champions. That is Team Falcons, with national pride on the line and the pressure of, putting up a performance worthy of being reigned as champions once more.
Team Falcons, they're the home team, returning champions. They really do have that pressure. But so does Alpha 7 competing during PMWC. They're also returning champions in that title. And by the way, they're currently at 200 points. So they need a top 8 finish in order to get those valuable points so they can start earning money towards the club championship trophy.
And of course, if they walk away with that victory, they manage to secure themselves 1,000 of those club championship points. You know what? Without further ado, let's go ahead and throw it to 7, who is joined alongside the reigning champions themselves.
We're here with Team Falcons, ready for PMWC. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile World Cup at EWC 2025. My name is the 7WG. I'm going to be your host, and I wouldn't be able to do this by myself. You know that Maximin's going to be getting here at some point. I'm joined by none other than Neptura. Neptura, how are you feeling?
I am feeling fantastic. I'm super excited to be here. We're back on the desk once again.
You see what I'm seeing right now, Nep? Is that Max running?
Oh my god. Here he is. Are you okay? Are you overheating?
Did I miss something? Oh, start. Hello. We're ready.
Hi.
Max, how was the run? How are you feeling?
I need a bit of cardio. No, it's fine. I'm feeling amazing here, okay? It's hot out here in Riyadh, but it's especially going to be hot in the lobby because these games are about to be straight fire, 7.
Maybe the best lobby that I think we have seen this year by far. Not even close. But you know what? We're talking about the teams. Let's actually take a look at some of the teams that are going to be participating here at PMWC at EWC 25. And boy, we got some new teams, and we also have some teams that we have seen for quite a while, Max.
Yeah, you got a lot of teams here that came back that are going to be trying to defend their title, like Alpha 7, right? But other teams that are back once again trying to get himself a good run. Looking at especially Alpha Gaming, I think a team that a lot of people are looking at here, Nipchura, to maybe try and do well, but they're still trying to fix a few things here and there.
The dockening. I'm just going to say it right out.
We'll get to that. But you did mention it during that clip, Max. You were saying red group today, day 1, we're going to be having group red versus group yellow. Red group being the group of death. And then tomorrow, that's a group that would actually get a chance to sit out, and we won't see them again until day 3 of group stage.
I mean, having that one break day is very important, Nipchura, right? Going into it, if you have a bad start, it's a really good time to have that 24 hours to fully reset, know, okay, what happened, what went wrong, try and fix it going into your final day of the group stage, because a lot of teams, I would say, are trying to avoid that survival stage. They want to qualify from the get-go to make sure they got that final spot secured.
That's usually what we expect. Would they hear one player, though, saying, hey, we actually want to get a chance to go to survival stage, which that was a bit surprising to me.
Right? I mean, I always see that, though, and I'm kind of like, actually, you do want to do that because it is the way to go forward. I think you get more practice. You have more chance to analyze the teams against your team specifically. So, yeah, I do think that it's actually a really, really good idea in a strategic sense to actually play for that survival stage as well.
Well, it might play out. It might put some extra pressure on the players. We don't know. Sometimes crazy things happen. One thing I do know is that I want to take a look at the Aramco Power Rankings because we got a chance to select some teams. I'm not going to talk about mine. I want you guys to talk about yours. Nipchura, go first.
Go first? All right. Well, Falcons, I kind of think that's kind of a given for me, at least. I think they're really cool. We've seen them do a lot of things globally. Good global experience. Good to go. Weibo Gaming, huge hype coming in from them. I want to see more from them. We all want to see stuff from them. And I think they've got a really, really good chance of doing very well globally, which historically, since Nova, we've not really seen from their region. So I'm good to see that. Regnum Karya as well. I kind of feel like there's no real discussion there. We all know why they're there.
PMGO champions, right? They made themselves their home region get an extra slot, and they qualified through that extra slot. They got themselves in PMGO over here in PMSL EU. So really good stuff from Regnum Karya. Silas, we have to say, he won PMGC. He's won now PMGO. If he wins PMWC here at 2025, he could be the only player in the world to have won all 3 big global events, which would be historical for him to make that happen today.
And the crazy part is that for the year, I mean, he could hit the global Grand Slam for PUBG Mobile, winning PMGO, maybe possibly winning PMWC, and we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with that team at PMGC. By the way, my picks, pretty much underdogs, okay? Teams that I think are going to end up going to survival stage, but teams, some of them not, but some of the other teams that I think they're actually going to be going to grand finals. But one team that I think a lot of people are expecting to be in grand finals is Regnum Karya. So let's take a look at this video.
I mean, Regnum Karya has just been on an absolute tear. We saw what they were able to do at PMGO. Can they maybe follow that up here at PMWC? What are the chances looking like so far?
I give them a solid 60%.
Oh.
So they need to share 40% between the other teams. That's quite low. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're looking really good. I think they're just looking very strong. They're feeling it. They're feeling that success, right? And so I feel like at this point in time, feeling as good as they do, that momentum that they've got, this team that they have, the synergy they've been able to build, it's looking very good for them.
You want to jump in? No, I was going to say, because looking at this team, right, these 4 players have stuck together now for the entirety of 2025 so far.
Yeah.
They have that synergy. They have that trust. Wild and Loxy in particular, when they're doing a play, they know exactly what the other guy's thinking. So when they're going for a breach on a compound, I'm telling you, Wild and Loxy, you don't want to go against them, because chances are, if they have a shotgun, you're not living more than 5 seconds, okay? You better be careful and hide.
Yeah, 100%. It's so nice to see that synergy come through, and that's really something that you don't see other teams have, and that's what you're always trying to get to. That's the standard that you're trying to get to, is having that synergy between players to the point of where you know what the other one is thinking, and that's so important in that late game.
Well, I mean, we're talking about teams that you don't want to run into. One team that I personally would not want to run into is Hora Esports. I mean, this team has been an absolute dark horse for me. They were able to perform well in their PMSLs as well. So before we even continue to talk about them, let's take a look at this interview.
We are lacking so many things in past, like communication, synergy, team game. That's why we got 1v3, 1v4 so many times. But in this gap, we I don't like to say anything those who underestimate us, but I'll just show them in game. Thank you everyone, love you all and keep supporting us.
As I mentioned, a team that you definitely don't want to end up running into. They have turned it up this year, Max, and I feel like they could be either one of the favorites for some people or maybe a dark horse team for some other people.
Yeah, I think you could see them in the 2 different options here going into this tournament. If you're Nepalese team, you're going to see them, of course, as a big squad going here for the entire tournament. Though, this is a team that's very rotationally smart, right? They are so good at getting good entry points here, and I think that could be something that sets them apart in this lobby.
I mean, we just got a chance to see them there with the Jamil Motorsport player arrivals. They're looking confident, and I think they might end up shocking the world as well, especially in group stages, Neptura.
I think they could, exactly. I mean, this team gets a lot of pushback from actually being able to be very passive. They get labeled as very passive, but they're not. They're a very aggressive team. They're just not as aggressive at the get-go as you would see from a lot of other teams. So they get called passive a lot, but they really aren't.
Yeah, they take fights that make sense. They're not a team that, I see you, I'm going to push you and fight. No, they think about it. If we get something out of this fight, if we win it, this fight makes sense, we'll send it. And they're a team that's very smart about it, but I see them a lot more as a defensive team. They get in positions ahead of the lobby, play defensively, hold teams at bay, especially with Sleepy. Is exceptionally strong with the DMRs, especially the Mini 14, keeps everyone at bay, and that just gives them a lot of space to work with in the mid to late game stage.
One thing that I've actually enjoyed and that you were able to showcase this on Instagram at MatsMainCast. Make sure you check it out, by the way, because it's the macro play. They have just improved that macro play, and I think that's actually going to end up helping them out here in a global stage.
Yeah, they know exactly how to leverage positions to their advantage. At any stage, early, mid, late game stage, it doesn't really matter too much. They're very smart, and it's down to the IGLing, the fragging potential, the team coordination. But one thing we need to talk about, especially too here, Neb, is going to be Mafia Ninja. The man in the shadows, right? Was part of DRS in the past, one of the most experienced players you will ever find in the path for PUBG Mobile Esports. And this guy has been helping fix a lot of issues for the team, and they are now coming fully prepared for PMWC. And because of Mafia Ninja and how the team have been working so far, I genuinely would not be shocked to see them up in a top 5 position.
I wouldn't be shocked either.
No.
I that's currently a team that I have going to the grand finals. Do you feel the same way for that team? Straight from group stages, by the way.
Straight from group stage is a lot, because I think we're going to have a lot of teams that will put a lot more points forward. Okay. But I think if they can survive to that late game, they're very sneaky. You never know where they're going to be in the circle. If they can get that far, then yeah, I think they could do it. But it's kind of depending on how the rest of the lobby plays, I think.
We had a meme during PMSL CSA saying if they get past the 5-minute mark, there's a 90% chance they win the game, because they kept hot dropping. But once they fixed the hot drop versus upgrading Yasnai Poliana, they just had no issues reaching the 20 to 25-minute mark pretty much.
Top 3 easily.
Yeah, that was down to Mafia Ninja. Yep.
You were mentioning other teams there. I think one team that you might have in mind that we were kind of talking about is Kinotrope Gaming.
Yes.
That's a team that you really want to talk about.
I am very excited about Kinotrope. I really, really am. I think they're such an interesting team. They're not one that I've seen a lot of. I feel like this is kind of one of the first times we're going to see them globally. For certainly many of the players, this is their first global event. They only have Ozi-san, who we know from many years ago. Over the last few years, we've seen him a lot in the global stage. The rest of the players know. And when I saw them recently, it was like, hang on, who are these guys? Because they're actually really good. They're very aggressive, and they seem to hold their own against very experienced teams. So I'm very excited for Kinotrope.
Me too. One team that I'm really excited for, and more than likely Max is going to agree with me, and I know you definitely agree with me already. Can you take a guess who it is? Starts with the W.
A B and a G.
Weibo Gaming, baby, because that could be one of the favorite ones to win this whole event, PMWC, because of the additions that they have had.
Since the Nova era, where they won PMGC back-to-back, right? Have we had a team from China really getting close to competing? Tianba, you can maybe say, but
occasionally.
I am so hopeful that if a Chinese team is going to win a global event, it is going to be this roster of WBG. They have been so impressive in the PUBG Mobile Hong Kong Invitational in particular. Suk with the bow is a scary fellow, and you're looking at 33Z, you're looking at Order, the fragging duo. Order in particular, this guy, he is experience incarnate, and I think that with the way they played in Hong Kong Invitational, chances are they could win this trophy here in Riyadh.
Well, Max, we're talking about all these teams, but we're missing one team, the main team. And I'm sorry I have to do this, everybody, but we got to talk about the defending champions. Alpha 7, barely making it into PMSL Americas. They were scaring us at one point. Reflections and I were like, are they going to make it or are they not going to make it? Luckily, they did end up making it. They're defending it. Is that one team that we're feeling like they're actually going to be able to win that back-to-back, Neptura?
Do you want me to be honest?
No,
I want you to
lie to us,
no,
please.
lie to us.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, why not?
I think the lobby is the strongest it's ever been. I think we have way too many contenders that play too similarly to A7. Very aggressive, very quick. That they might just, if they don't fix the certain cracks that they have at the moment, they could fall through them.
Max, I see you pondering in your head. Am I agreeing with this? Am I not agreeing with this?
Like, you put it really well, so it's hard for me to disagree, but I want to say that there's a lot of potential on this team.
Oh, yeah.
We saw Squash, like Mafioso, Revo, Cario, we know those guys. They've been sticking with the team for ages now. But Squash is the new addition, replacing Magrelian from last year.
True.
And I feel like Revo found a new best friend in Squash. Like, they are an incredibly good fragging duo, and their potential is incredibly high. We were talking with Reflections, actually, just a few days ago, and and he said the team maybe looks a little bit weaker than the previous iteration of Alpha 7 in 2024, but their potential is so high if they're able to fix those little issues with Squash and him be able to get more experience on the global stage, chances are they could reach that full potential and go 100% here on this tournament and make it work out.
Now, this is one team that I didn't want to talk about that much, but I do want to put a little bit of input there for Alpha 7. Is they're fighting for that $3 million prize pool. Not only just that trophy, right? But the main thing for this team is how are they going to be starting the tournament? Are they going to be starting slow? Are they not? I got a chance to talk to the players actually right before we started the show, and the main thing that I told them is whatever you do not start slow. Do not play that catch up. And that was one team that told me, you know what? We don't really want to go to that survival stage. We want to go straight to grand finals because we want to be able to have a little bit of extra research, and that could be something that benefits teams.
Yeah, survival stage, yucky. You don't know. Don't want that. Great analysis here on the desk. You know, like you want to try and avoid it. That would be my personal approach because you're putting your position for the finals at risk. Yeah, you would just want to get there as early as possible because otherwise, chances are you might not qualify through the survival stage.
Oh, I mean, sometimes those teams like to have that pressure on their shoulders. They become diamonds. But then sometimes they end up crushing and they get exposed for just
piece of coal
for not really being able to do that. But for Alpha 7, we'll have to wait and see what that's going to be happening with that team. As you mentioned, this is one of the strongest lobbies, if not the strongest lobby we have seen, I think, in many years. And we can go on and on and on and talk about those teams, talk about which one's going to be challenging them, which one is maybe going to be surprising a lot of the viewers that they might have not seen before. I know that we definitely have a couple teams here and there, but I think the talk is done. I think I want to see this player. So you know what? Let's go to the introductions to this stage.
The goal isn't to simply compete. It's to bend, break, and dominate your opponents. This week is going to be absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see what unfolds. My name is Barney Banks, and I am privileged to be your host for the PMWC at the 2025 Esports World Cup. 24 teams will enter the Gidea Arena and battle through the group stage, the survival stage, and of course, the grand finals. All with $3 million in sight, and of course, this stunning PMWC trophy. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I think it is time to kick off today by introducing your teams for day one of the group stage, starting with AXTMG.
reigning club champions, Team Falcons! And finally, your reigning champions of the PUBG Mobile World Cup at the Esports World Cup, Alpha 7 Esports! The journey to this point, it has been tough, but the real work begins now. It is going to absolutely pop off here on the main stage, so get comfortable. Who has what it takes to perform under the bright lights? Could the reigning champions do it once again? We spoke with Alpha 7 Esports earlier this week to find out.
Alpha 7 Esports have long been the kings of their region, dominating every tournament they enter, but on the global stage, close enough to touch victory yet always watching it slip away like under a curse, finishing second or third in the biggest events. Time and time again, they came close to glory, only to fall just short. That curse weighed heavy. The world saw their talent. They proved their strength regionally, but the ultimate global crown remained out of reach. Then in 2024, everything changed. At 2024 PMWC, Alpha 7 finally broke the cycle against all odds on the biggest stage in PUBG Mobile. They delivered the performance of a lifetime, champions, the first team from Americas to ever lift the World Cup. It was more than a victory, it was a statement. But since then, the roster has slightly shifted with McGrellin out. At the heart of Alpha 7 is Revo, a PUBG Mobile legend and basically an MVP magnet. The guy's consistent, clutch, and always in the spotlight.
Revo jumps out the 364, and that's
the second as well. Revo.
Then there's Carrillo, the team's IGL and mastermind who calls the shots like a chess grandmaster, always 3 moves ahead. Mafioso and the newcomer Squash bring the heat with insane mechanics and nerves of steel, ready to turn any fight on its head. And honestly, Carrillo's not just the brains, he's got the highlight plays to back it up and he's hungry for more. But being a champion means the target on your back never goes away. Alpha 7 entered 2025 with a different kind of pressure, the pressure to defend, to prove that last year wasn't a fluke, that the crown belongs to them. In PMSL America Spring, Alpha 7, who have long dominated the regional PMSL, didn't just bounce back. They crushed it once again with relentless consistency and their trademark aggression. They maintained their undefeated reign at home while proving their strength internationally. A third-place finish secured their ticket back to PMWC. Not as underdogs, not as challengers, as defending champions. From South America to the global stage set in Riyadh, Alpha 7 isn't just back, they never left.
PUBG Mobile fans, prepare yourselves, for we are about to kick off 2025 in style. Things are going to be explosive, exciting, and damn right disgusting out there today, Blank. I cannot wait to see how this lobby's looking and how the first day of competition goes here live in Riyadh.
Criminal roster of players across all teams here in the EWC, the PMWC. We've got Team Falcons coming in through here, coming off the big win over in PMSL EU, and Koa with his signature sunglasses on deck.
Man, it's going to be a treat. So many teams that are absolutely stacked this year. I think that's the rhetoric we're all kind of looking at. Damn, all right, little bit of a flourish as well. Yeah, it works. I'm digging it, Blank. I'm digging the stage too. I think that's one of the fun elements that we're bringing to you this time around. Such a different style, the dynamic nature of it, it really embodies what the scene's looking like today.
You know, even earlier on, I got the chance to, take a little
step into the stage during scrims. You have players shouting at one another from across the room. It was good stuff. But the dance has already had like some nice discussions about how they feel teams will fare. I think one of the more interesting discussions that was had was about Weibo Gaming. Yeah. Honestly, I think that they're absolutely right and correct in the fact that, you know, China just hasn't been a powerhouse for a long, long time, despite, you know, being straight off the mark very, very early on in PUBG Mobile. But that was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, the optics for it, the potential chance, you know, it's literally what me and Max were setting up back at the start of the day, right? Who's going to be that upcoming challenger? You've got a lot of X's on Alpha 7, a lot of targets. People are looking at them, right? They're aware now you're coming in. Everyone's looking hot blank. Other regions looking to try and have an opportunity to snatch at that trophy, rip it away from them. And we saw how motivated and close Reject came last year. Not in the building this time around. Someone else has to come up and show us what they're made of. And I think there really is a definitive chance that we get a different champion this year. I'm not actually even expecting the two-time possibility blank. With how stacked this event is, I feel like it would be so much work for Alpha 7. They're going to need to give us their A game through and through.
Well, like Yagami in the building. We do have like a bit of an issue, right? In terms of the fact that Alpha 7 barely made it in. Regnum Karya barely made it in. Yeah. Team Falcons, they didn't look super smooth making up towards that top spot. They still took it. But Regnum Karya, Alpha 7, those are your two teams that a lot of eyes are on them. And Max put it perfectly in the sense that Regnum Karya earned their own spot coming through from PMGO. But if they'd come second in that PMGO, damn dude, they wouldn't be here sitting on this stage today. So again, there needs to be some big improvements from both those teams. Alpha 7, I want to see them have that hunger once again that we saw them, where they were pacing all the time to try and pick themselves up a win. Forever second place, that team.
Yeah, the Cinderella story, right? Forever the bridesmaid, never the bride. They were finally able to have that success story, and what a time for it. I do like as well, it's the way it kind of plays in, right, with the stage, them in the middle, risen up. But is that the true lay of the land? Like you're saying, the differential of how this year is going to be looking once we really start to kick things off. A lot of excitement, a lot of talent. That's really what we're looking at here. I mean, to be honest with you, I think everyone at home this year is going to be in for a treat. Day in, day out, back-to-back blank. So much PUBG Mobile, and you need to make sure you clear your schedule to fit it all in, because it's going to be world-class.
All right, this is a feast. It's going to be calorific on the stage, and it will be treats back-to-back. Some sweeties for the PUBG Mobile fans.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of bonbons been thrown in there.
Sugar Rush gameplay.
But yeah, I think the interesting thing here right now is you can see it's quite pensive in the room, quite pensive.
Yeah.
Where we're all on 0 points right now. You know, no one's got that head jump start where they're feeling a little bit more confident about the position in this tournament. We're just waiting to get into our first game here. I believe we're very, very close to go, so don't worry.
Headsets
it is coming.
Yeah. Man, it's exciting as well, because I think, you know, you raise a good point there, Blank, where kind of the bookends of the entire event, right, having that nature of opening game, where everyone's on same points, nil point, nothing to play with, right? It's why it feels so intense, because there is those moments of like, all right, we don't actually even know the full reverberation to some of the outcomes from this map for quite some time. It's why it makes it kind of fun, it makes it exciting to see how it's going to go. I'll tell you what I do enjoy as well, seeing quite a few mascots this year. People have got like the little teddy bears out, people are feeling it, bro.
I'll tell you what, the mascots are out, the jerseys are starting to become a little bit more creative. It's quite nice to see, honestly. I think Alpha 7 did have like a little bit of a part in that. I think that they would, with them having the holographic jersey for so long now, a lot of the teams decided, you know what, we gotta bring the fashion game up just a little bit.
Gonna make the most of it. Strapped up, getting themselves ready. Yeah, it feels like the competition's starting to heat up at this point, but who's going to be able to beat the heat? That's the question. So much to play for here. Ridiculous lion's share of prize pool on the line. The glory, the legacy, the opportunity for so many of these teams, players, regions, all building. It will be an explosive 2 weeks live from Saudi Arabia.
Not how you want to start things though, with a tangle. That's the worst way to start things here.
Make sure you get the left in the left here, don't get them muddled up.
You're locked in as soon as those headphones go on. Quite a few of the teams that are coming through from Americas. I do worry for Americas a little bit, honestly, just because they're quite an aggressive region. I think the so far overall. We're jumping straight into things though. 4 thrives over towards Hatin on a hot drop to start things off, Jackie. And Nongshan Red Force also down towards Ruins.
Well, let's see how this goes once we get into the action here and see what things are going to be developing like, obviously with those early hot drops, Blank. It's always exciting, mate. This is one of those where we get a little bit of a telltale sign as well if teams are going to pull off with some of these more default drops if it goes wrong.
We're already losing 1. That's over towards Power. So 4 thrives currently thriving over towards Hatin. We're on board with AX and Nongshan Red Force in the Ruins.
Scrambling to grab themselves some bits and bobs to fight with. Nongshan Red Force taking a bit of a dink towards the backside as well. DBS is in play. They start to make their move. This is real rough as well for Power, Blank. I mean, down to just 1 man left standing already. I know I was hyping him up a little bit, kind of a fan favorite for the crowd, but that is not a dream start whatsoever.
And 4 thrives, 3 eliminations, 4 players still up and kicking. And they will be kicking Power out from Hatin going forward. On the other hand, Nongshan Red Force taking a fair bit of damage. AX currently looking a lot more healthy here compared to them. Controlling on the outside of Ruins right now. A little bit tough when you get on the back foot here, especially in terms of meds. A lot of these rooms do get cut off, and AX is starting to increase their domain within the Ruins itself.
Yeah, opportunity to play with though. Some weapons established there. Henry in the back line. With the DBS on deck as well, waiting for the close range. A little bit of scouting, keep your distance. No overcommit, they're aware of each other.
This could be good though for Team Falcons, of all teams actually. Head up towards that north side. We know that Ralph does like to scout out towards Ruins in the first place, and with the circle going over towards the east, if you can cut out 2 teams from Ruins, you open up a very consistent, easy path over towards Painan. Here's a replay coming through of all the action that went down over towards Hatin. It was a rough and tumble of a start there for Power.
Yeah, brutal on the replay, catching the highlights from that one actually for Power Gaming. Mid-looting, quick to the drop, just able to make the play on it. Always the chance for maybe a little bit of acclamation if you can stay alive. 1 player in the opening moments, first 15 seconds, yeah. Not the sort of sight that you'd like to see. Ooh,
nice.
Beautiful peek on it, Blank.
Yeah, good catch. Very, very good catch. And again, to be honest with you, AX, with the amount of control they've had throughout the entirety of this fight, they want to conclude this soon. They know they need to go towards that eastern side where our circle popped.
Equal trade so far. Looking to close the gap with the DBS, but the quick burst back over, looking pretty good actually. These trades though, so messy. Either side taking heavy hits, and looking to see if they can convert. DBS just spamming out the shots. Need to play medic, get Henry back on his feet. Got the elevated fight, wide swing out on the corner, drop down into it. And there you have it. Come out on top in the end, being able to shut down the Red Force. Nongshan out on that one as AX will survive. Bit of a nail biter, but they get through it.
I mean, for AX, fans of that team will be very, very pleased with that one. And honestly, it's not what I was expecting. I'm happy to be surprised in that as well, because the control they had on that fight was spectacular. A lot of teams, when we see like this kind of an improvement and then heading over towards EWC, it was sort of a surprise pick for us coming through. I was excited to see it. I'm very, very surprised to see that kind of control coming through early. Now, the question is whether they can do that kind of thing to a much more consistent team with Lobby. You know, we're looking at scarier teams, Alpha 7, DRX, Regnum Kaya, Weibo Gaming. Can they kind of have that success versus them? We'll wait and see, but to start things off, that was very, very clean by the books.
Even just to get the nerves out of the way immediately as well, like the sort of, you know, the caliber of the stage you've immediately been thrown into, mate. It's one of those where that feels so good for you compared to the outcome of losing that. Especially
as a special invite as well, because in a lot of instances when we have that invite come through, a lot of times that team doesn't do amazingly well, but it's nice to have them here. But this is a very keen team to start things off, so I'm impressed. I'm impressed to start things off. Here's Regnum Kaya on your screens. Currently up towards Cal right now on the north side of the map. Locked in a fray though with Weibo Gaming. We might just be able to get some answers nice and early. Weibo versus Regnum Kaya, how that pans out. The well-known player, Order, star-studded player, in fact, in Order. Has had so much success and consistent success over the years. Order versus Silas, that could be a very, very fun matchup.
We can check in as well, of course, with our reigning champions at the minute, Alpha 7. Got Mafioso doing a bit of scouting work as well, the only player separated away. Squash, another big talking point that we'll develop into over the course of the event as well. Ciari's performing here. Bit of a new look. It's like 25%, I think the maths on that one, Blank.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's always been the case for Alpha 7, is just finding that fourth player. It's never been easy for them. Squash is returning to the game after a year. Took a little bit of a hiatus from it, but they immediately had him back. Fair play. It is unfortunate to see McGrellin not in the roster, though. McGrellin was a player that they had found massive success with internationally, and I thought, you know, that they would work with him, but I just think the team did not gel, despite the ridiculous amount of success they were able to find over at EWC. So yeah, weird. Weibo Gaming is going to give up the chase here, though. They're going to head down towards that south side. I reckon Kaya don't take any casualties off the back of that one, which is good to see.
Obviously, threw the highlight out there as well towards Falcons early. You can see they've had a relatively unscathed path up to this point. Going to go for the crossing as well on the bridge here. So potentially a bit of an opportunity for a skirmish to come up. AX as well making their move in now, coming over towards Painan. Again, not really had much of an encounter since. Nice to get the overview though with the map screen. You can see New Circle coming in and the shift for our teams here.
It's a cool shift as well on the circle. I've never ever seen a Lukawi finish in my entire time of casting PUBG Mobile. So cool. We can go east again, end up in Lukawi. I'd be very, very happy. I think I've seen every other finish here on Sandhawk other than Lukawi. Fireflux, Falcons are heading up here. I don't know how they're able to get towards this position unseen.
Man, that's an instant knock as well. Now Valo being able to pick up pretty big impact onto this. Yeah, that's crazy. It felt like actually with the position they were in, there must have been some kind of visual contact from it. Really not ideal. 3 quick nades of the cast out. 2 knocks. Got one back over onto the Falcon side Blank, but for what it is, a bit of a messy encounter here.
I think the Fireflux, if I was looking at, I think they tried to regroup from that northwest side and then come back down towards Cave to get together. The Falcons have been so silent on their approach, despite having the vehicle as well. So you imagine hear the engine, surely. And we're going to get our circle closing in just roughly 15 seconds. We're heading over towards the east side of Quarry. Now, Quarry is a big problem, Jackie, for a lot of these teams. It's low ground in there. You don't particularly want to head towards that position. There's a lot of sight lines from that eastern side of Quarry that are on the high ground looking down into Quarry. So you have to either go above on the north side or down towards the south. And it's going to funnel teams into awkward scenarios. So Falcons already taking out the majority of Fireflux. It's beautiful for the Ralph. Okay.
Oh, mate. You say taking out the majority, they might actually just take them all down at this point. Being able to track them all down there, perfect peek in, gets the drop on them, literally. Now, there has been a bit of a proverbial dinner bell that was rung, and that's AX on the rotate over. They would have heard some of this gunfire release, trying to at least carve a path back around. Don't want to half commit to this, seeing the Falcons are up on high.
I think it's a smart move from AX. I mean, Cave is a messy area to try and push, try and play around, get those third parties in. You don't have exact location either. So I think for AX just to head ahead, you know, and they realize this is clean. We're not getting in contact with absolutely anybody on this rotate. So they get ahead. They sit on the edge of Quarry. And Falcons need to make a decision on how they want to play through. A lot of times on this circle, they actually shift down towards the south side here, Jackie, before moving up towards the north. So it'll be interesting to see how they do play out these next moments. 4 Thrives. They won their fight over towards Hutton versus Power earlier on, and now have come into contact with Weibo Gaming. Now, that's kind of interesting to me, right? If Weibo Gaming didn't spend so much time over towards Cow, potentially they were here a little bit sooner than 4 Thrives, but felt like the end of the game for 4 Thrives here was just to get into the circle ASAP.
So it is a bit of a split as well with the scout. So we'll see if he can make his passage safely. The solo head count, obviously Scarface, the only man left from the squad after the cave shenanigans that we saw, tucks himself in, and then you have Easy on the long old quest. He tanked himself up, late loot, just trying to make his way down. Obviously that was Power Gaming losing absolutely everyone bar Easy in the opening few seconds.
Come on, let's head north. Let's head north on this circle. Show me one Lukawi, please. Fun area of the map right now. You got like a lot of high ground that slopes down over towards Kampung, over towards the Kari itself. It's a little bit open on those high grounds as well. There is more buildings down towards that eastern side, but that means you are picking up the low ground earlier on. If you have to move out that area, it is a death sentence. Playzone takes down Toshvik. Now that is interesting. I don't know how that's happened for Breaking Kaya. They have really damaged on their escape outwards.
Yeah, and you cannot afford to dilly-dally. It's time to lock in, and they're going to have 2 teams ahead of them as well, so the pathway forward is going to be a bit rough. Toshvik on the knock. You've got Weibo as well with the damage coming over the top. Before I get into close combat here, I mean, potentially with DPS, you've got the crossfire set up just on the doorway, but it's the nade usage that could make the world of difference. A few of them are back pocket, already a bit of splash damage over. Slight peek on the angle. Oh, hang on a minute. This really is a dinner bell. You got the third party just on the top of the ridge as well.
The thing was this though, Jackie, this is exactly what I was talking about. That high ground looking down to Lukawi is horrible to play against. Before Thrives though, they just need to worry about getting backstabbed. I think Team Vision has made their way on over, and there's Volt already finding T24. There's Angdon Galacticus finding Regnum Kaya, the entirety of them as well. Goodness me, just waiting for them on the wings there.
Yeah, fragmented, 1 knock into Toshvik, everyone else just being shot at from 2 separate sides, and it really does start to crumble. This was 4 Thrives who were setting themselves up to get the third party down from the top of the ridge. Like you said, they've been ran up on, and it's not looking good whatsoever. Quickly, they are dispatched. Mopped up like a spilt drink, Blank.
It was a great push through from Vision. Honestly, Volt does a huge amount of work in that instance. I'm surprised that 4 Thrives fell for that so suddenly, and I think that's because they got a little bit too aggressive down towards the position early. And that is always the difficulty with taking that high ground, that your back is not protected. Horror though, no fear. Certainly feeling it now, it's a little bit. Soaz from DRX, of all teams, down towards the south side of this, actually getting slightly involved. And it's nice to see, you know, Horror getting aggressive, because it's exactly what Neptera talked about on the dares count. Teams maybe see them as a bit of a passive team, but no, they've got a little bit of a bite to them.
Oh yeah. Don't want to get those hands too close, they'll bite back. It's rough for Order as well, how he set himself up. Actually quite nice with the cook on the nades. You can see he was trying to just go in for the knock, didn't expect the shot from the side, instantly downed, and then fully committed because of it. Yeah, DRX might actually have a little bit more to say about this one, longer it develops as well. You've got a good read on it. Oh, hang on a minute. Alpha 7 now, dropping over. Mafioso trying to bail out. Damage comes through. Quick damage on the Carrillo. There's the pre-nade as well. Oh, nearly, mate. Couldn't get it through the window.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nade you should not be missing here in EWC, right? I don't think you should be missing those kind of nades. For Alpha 7, now they're surrounded. Revo Mafioso keep things under wraps. Team Secret, they're coming over towards that building, over towards Rebel is. He's got a big task ahead of him.
It was a cook on the nade, cast it out, doesn't look like it's going to be on target. Vision as well, scrapping. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side of the feed, it's all kicking off. Damage back down onto 4 primes. That was the replay that we had there with the real action here. Let's see how it goes.
There's 4 teams in this compound, dude. This is unbelievable. You've got Yangon Galacticos, Alpha 7, Team Secret, E-Arena, all battling for control here. I think Team Secret picked their moment very nicely. I think Team Vision maybe missed their moment there. But it could have come down slightly earlier as opposed to looking over towards this fight happening between Weibo as well as Horror Esports in Lakawi. I think DRX does have a nice spot, you know, over on this eastern side. They can stalk the opponents on the west.
Yeah, it feels like they've been picking their fights nicely as well. You know, the one pick they were able to find was good timing on it. They're not overcommitted. They're playing the long game on this one. Everyone being so closely grouped, there's a lot of potential for a big point earner the longer it goes on. A lot of chip damage being thrown out between these teams as well. Weibo going down in the meantime. Another squad eliminated as they are thrown to the wayside. It's been so rough as well. Mafioso consistently just taking so much damage, having to tuck in. Reed doesn't have an angle to fight from at all. Smile. Be happy with that one on the peak back over. Good tag straight up. Say goodbye.
It's a good unleash over towards E-Arena. Very nice angle to play in. Mormon goes down after all. Maybe Team Vision didn't miss a trick after all, by the way. If you can clean out Horror Esports, they have a very nice ability to kind of sweep on this eastern side. But I'm very, very excited to see who wins out on this compound eventually. Here's Marcelo. Again, this is what they wanted to do in the first place. They get rid of Horror Esports, then they can start to move down over towards DRX. They will cut themselves out a huge amount of space on the northeast side. And even if it goes over towards the west, they do have a scout in Never Alone, currently playing in a compound on that northwest, keeping tabs on that huge fight ongoing inside that compound that you see on your screen right now with Team Secret Alpha 7. Yangon Galacticos, nice nade. Comes through again. 6 elims on the match.
Yo, honestly, you've got to give props. Vision looking really crisp right now. That was a beautiful nade. Great timing on it. Ooh, hang on. Going to be able to get the full commit onto this, though. Looking for a window. Obviously wanted to get the pick back up. Couldn't do it. Sahora out on the adjustment there. Great work from Vision. Topping right now on the elim points. That's 8 that they're rocking with.
It's a really, really nice start. And Sandhawk is particularly good for this, Jackie, where you're able to get a big lead at the start of the day just because it encourages one team to take control of the match. That was a nice step out from Borizin, honestly. But Devotee, the reaction speeds on that were insane.
It's a good start for this teammate as well, the way they've read it. You play off the back of the nade into the peaks. You've got to force them into the fight. It's a good engagement, actually. Like, impressive stuff. They've been playing a relatively passive game rather than the hot drop that we saw to start off with, but rotations have been all right. The teamwork looked pretty good. Rough on the move here, though. Limited cover to work with and influence Rage. They take the peak up and do get the shot back over.
If it's quite honest, like it has been hard for them. There hasn't been too many areas to jump in. I mean, Arian will get ahead here. Well, it's Cyrax.
It's the easy cam. Oh, hey, that's
take out influence.
He's literally had the backline this whole time, by the way. He's been slowly making his move in, right? He's rocked up, found influence Rage, and made the play. Oh, easy.
Fair play. Fair play.
2 elim points. Can't actually turn your nose up at that, Blank.
No, you can't.
Let's see if he does any more. I'm rooting for him. Oh, footsteps heard.
Yeah.
Nah, he's not joking around.
Hey, I mean, he outlived 4 Thrives, though, so...
It's really not that bad, considering that could have been literally like a 0-point game. Like, yeah, you'll take it.
No, absolutely, you will. They got I think, a 2 off the back of that. Yeah. Nice. Yangon Galacticos will finish off Alpha 7, who get 1 pity point in terms of placements. Any other elims that came their way. Team Secret now struggling. And this has been a great setup from Vision. Honestly, this whole time. Look at this line that they've got. You can see it right there. Looking out over towards Team Secret as well as Yangon Galacticos. As they leave that compound, not only will they be trying to tear shreds out of one another, but it also will be Team Vision having some pretty deadly vision their way.
Potential stab in the back as well still. From Joker onto AX as they start to make their rotation over the top. Like you say, it's a good setup from Vision, but I'm also liking what DRX are working with. Oh, hang on though. Volt still keeping the electricity going. More so than anything, right? You're going to have that relatively equal tie right now in the elimination points between both of them. Great game of how they've been keeping themselves involved. It's a nice sprint to at least have an understanding of the rotations in for DRX. Humbin was playing far further out as he's scouting down. Oh, nade onto the top. Never alone, takes a hefty hit from that one. Got to back up a bit. Team Secret caught in the crossfire as well.
Smile finding a lot of Team Secret there, so stolen away, a lot away from Vision, honestly, on their exit. You can see there that Yangon Galacticos, 13 elims this game. An absolute galactic performance from them. E-Arena goes down. Iron goes down as well. That's the Yangon Galacticos. Another tag on, which takes them up to 14 elims on the first map of the day. Beautiful stuff. It's Team Falcons that I'm interested in. You know, they've had a pretty casual game. They really need to make it count now, though. The big two teams who will be going head-to-head will be DRX and Vision going forward. DRX has been very quiet, though, Jackie.
They have, yeah. This is what we were looking at, right? Kind of passive, just the sort of third-party fights when they had a few off angles. Oof. Bullets raining down.
Funny thing, they have the circle. The Yangon Galacticos.
You know what, you are right. I mean, it's kind of awkward, right, with the split at least. A lot of damage onto them. But with how many elims they've been able to rack up already.
It's wild.
They're looking crisp. Like, not going to lie, from the position you're in, maybe there's still a chance to get a little bit more out of this one. Be a hell of a day if they can kick it off like this, Mike.
Falcons have to leave. Luckily for them, DRX as well as Vision just get into contact with one another.
Here we go. Scrap starting to unfold. Damage over the top. Marcelo with the peek up, spamming into the smoke. Vehicle over the top. Nade straight onto him as well. So Vision, it's getting risky. And that's DRX with the damage being dealt. Volt suddenly clambering to pick this one back up. Meanwhile, you've got DRX from the sideline with his own pushing in, nipping at their heels. They've got to be forced further forward. The nades blank with how closely grouped they are. One right on target would finish them.
What are you doing? They drove their own teammates into the barrage of nades. Smile goes down and Team Falcons now looking for the finish. Produced clean from DRX. Now looking to get all their players back up on their feet. We see if Team Falcons can finish with off. It's Ralph Koa, as well as Redux. Either side of the circle. Preliminary grenades going out over towards the hard cover, so you know they're working with no information.
Nades in. Stepping forward, the feet are on the ground right now. DRX, they saved themselves. Could have been misery in the previous fight. The smorgasbord of mistakes have kept them in it to win it, and Hyun Bin tries to unleash. That's one clean connection back on a round. Koa, low on HP. DRX dealing damage right now as the elims are racking up. In a position to close it and grab themselves a chicken dinner on the first game with the shots raining true. It's all on Redux. We need to be a clutch from the back line, and that's not going to happen. DRX will take it.
Yeah, coming to play here. It's not quite D plus K, but DRX are looking good on the main stage. Very, very nice to see here for them. Team Falcons will take that second place. It's a good position to be in for them, Jackie.
It really is. Beautiful start. I mean, hell of a start to the day for Yangon Galacticos, right? Like the elims, absolutely beautiful. You're taking really heads-up fights. You've been able to build up that momentum. For a first game, that's the performance I'd want every time. Yeah, we did get the chicken dinner blank, but the blood's pumping, the comms look clean. That matters a lot.
That Ralph doesn't seem too pleased that game, but I think that they should be happy. They were working with little to no information there, and they really had to cut it down to the wire moving out from that blue. They were banking on Vision and DRX actually fighting one another, and it took so long to get involved. But what was that car play, dude?
Mate, it just felt so confusing in the moment as well, right? Because you're like,
why
okay,
are you backing your teammate?
You've got the intense fight here. What is this playing? Like, where's this going from? The comedy of error that then just unfolded into everyone, obviously, having to be closely grouped. You eat a nade, no spacing, nothing you can do. The difference of one nade is just completely removing them from what was otherwise a really great sort of mid-flow of the game.
The game was unreal from Vision, and to end in an embarrassing moment like that does feel rough. They still get themselves
Cybertron's future is near. Autobots, roll out! This planet reeks of weakness. Your courage reignites my spark. We'll crowd a new load of Cybertron. Roll for freedom. A victory for all sentient beings.
What a first match that we have had here at PMWC at EWC 25. Boy, I was not expecting DRX to get that win, Max, but they came out on top.
I was like, there's no D plus Kia. But DRX are the new D plus Kia. Does that make sense? I don't know, maybe. But South Korea here to play. It feels really good. And really good entry point to the East, playing it pretty safe, waiting until the very end. Got a really good nade onto Vision that really just unlocked the potential for them to win that match.
It felt a bit like an underdog type of game, right? You were telling me that a lot of these teams, I mean, big teams that we were expecting to do good, they didn't end up performing that good. One team that actually ended up surprising me, and I feel like it surprised a lot of us, was Yangon Galacticos. The amount of eliminations this team got.
They're like, what the hell is happening in that Alpha 7 compound? I guess we'll send it and just eliminate everyone. They got almost double-digit eliminations that game, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So Yangon Galacticos, I think a lot of teams here qualified through PMSLs. They made it through PMCL, the Challengers Cup, and people not really looking towards their direction too much and actually getting a really good start here on Sanhok.
I mean, Neptura, them being able to achieve 14 eliminations, that's one way that you want to be able to start PMWC.
That is wild, and I think it really is down to all of those third parties because they were really on top of the ball when it came to actually finding those opportunities to get those eliminations. A lot of them were through those third-party opportunities. They were just like, oh, there's an angle, there's a team fighting, there's an angle, let's get that angle and move on. So really, really good stuff from them. It's nice to see them step up like this.
Yeah, I mean, Team Vision here getting themselves a third place with 10 eliminations. Two teams able to get double-digit eliminations alongside Yangon Galacticos, and they had a really good third party onto Hora versus WBG. That fight was just stretched out to its absolute limits. I think it went on for about 5 minutes, if not more.
For way too long.
Yeah, and they were like, well, this fight, it's kind of stupid. It's taking this long. This is like, we're just going to roll on in, get those stragglers, get the few points, and after that, get a nice transition to go fight DRX.
Yep.
Unfortunately, DRX had nades, as we did see, but it was a really good start from Vision that after all of the teams that came out of MENA, I was really not having high expectations for
Yes. that was a massive surprise for all of us. I feel like with Team Vision, the way that they were able to perform here on this first match, something that actually ended up surprising me. I was expecting to have one hot drop. Instead, Max and Nev, we ended up having 2 hot drops.
We did. We had 2 of them. And then we had, what was it, Power also with Fourth Rise. That's right. But then we also had Nongshim Red Force and AXTMG, Max.
Yep.
What a weird one.
Weird.
Because normally AXTMG, for those who know, looking back at BMPS, they drop Northwest Island. They drop on the mountaintop. I think they might have been scared of a possible flex out of Power and Fourth Rise outside of Heartin. So like, we're just going to give that space away and go for Ruins instead. But Nongshim Red Force dropped there. Like, that is a known fact. And they still try and take it away, which I don't know why, because that's a bit unnecessary, but they win it, so I can't complain too much.
I want to pause it, though. Was it on purpose?
You think so?
Possibly. Now, I have seen many times before, if a team wins a hot drop, that carries momentum in through the rest of the game. They're able to build on top of that and get a lot of eliminations. Sandhawk is this team's best map. So for me, I'm like, okay, that's a weird hot drop. That's a weird choice. Was it on purpose? Did they think we can win this against Nongshim? Let's go for it, get that momentum and get some elims for the first game? It's entirely possible.
I feel like the reason why we're saying this could be their best map is because they do end up playing it twice at BMPS. So they have a little bit extra experience when it came to that one.
Very confident.
Now, you got a chance to talk to the Falcons coach.
I did.
And I know you were happy to mention something about this team.
I was. Pico. Shout out to him. He was talking to me about the team, and I was like, are you going to play any different? Because, like, you're not playing tomorrow, all of this. And he said, no, we're just going to play normally. We're chill. And I was like, okay. Normal in these sorts of lobbies, especially the first day, is everybody kind of tiptoes around each other a little bit. Certainly in the early stages of the game, you kind of like trying to get a feel for how the lobby's going to play. Not with this team. They went all out very, very early on. And so I'm like, hey, that's not normal. Pico, you lied to me. How dare you? That's not normal. They came in with real aggression, and actually, it was really impressive. I liked it.
And it worked out, clearly, right? They gave themselves second place. If they had 4 players, maybe it would work out, but DRX were very smart about the way playing that ridge. They get control of the rocks, and then Falcons couldn't do much. But until that point, it was a very, very solid match here coming out from Team Falcons. But again, let's keep in mind, PMGC, 3rd place, right, with Enigma Galaxy. PMGO, 2nd place. The 3rd place curse has been broken. Come on, if they win it here, that would be such a magnificent comeback storyline for them.
Just the line is just going to keep going up for that team. Now, another team that we were expecting them, especially with the circle that we ended up getting, Max, was Alpha 7. We thought that they were going to be able to do a little bit more, but I know you want to rage on this team because I was also raging watching what happened.
I am confused. Because Alpha 7, if you want to go for that road trifecta compound, I don't really have a big issue with that. I think that going for the DRX Ridge would maybe be a better decision overall. But instead, what do? They go right into the road trifecta compound, which is a very crashable compound. And they stay split. They have 1 player in each building. And guess what? Team Secret come in. Yangon Galacticos come in. Another team come in right after that. I don't really know why they decided to stay split for that long when you know you're going to get crashed. Go into 2 buildings as a 2-2 or even have 4 players in 1 building. I don't care, but you need to be set up for defense because you are not going to hold 4 buildings as a full squad.
No, it's a really, really difficult thing. But those buildings are so hard to play anyway. Like, it's so nadeable, so low ground. It's just hard. So it's kind of like you lose whatever you do, really.
And it was one of those teams that you expected that team to just stay a little bit compact. It didn't end up happening to them. But don't forget that from July 25th to the 27th and August 1st to the 3rd, log in to Summon Airdrops and collect 2025 airdrop vouchers to enter prize draws for official merchandise, smartphones, BD partner rewards, permanent in-game items, and more. Every participant is guaranteed to win. Additionally, from July 25th to the 31st, vote for your favorite airdrop partner for a chance to receive special gifts from them. Don't miss this year's airdrop carnival and unbox your surprise. I know I'm going to be doing it. Max probably has already done it, and Neptura is going to be doing it too. Now, going back to this game, I mean, one thing that actually ended up surprising me in regards to what you were saying with Falcons is how they were actually able to crash on Fireflux and take control of that southern part.
It's crazy, right? I mean, I know Blank and Jackie were talking about it a little bit there, where it's like you're not usually able to get up there let alone silently, especially in vehicles. So it's kind of a bit of a miracle they made it up there to begin with. And then what really impressed me was the follow through. They got the 2 initial knocks, but they didn't leave it there. You saw Raouf actually go into the cave, spot that extra player, and get rid of him. And then later on in that Elim feed, we saw them do it again and pick off that final player. So like they followed through with that fight.
They didn't catch, like, fall in the cave itself.
Yeah.
Oh, was it on purpose?
I am the bad catch.
Was it on purpose?
Maybe. He had an entire backstory in that cave where he got spotted out by Raoul. But it was an interesting fight. Cave is always a little bit weird to fight around.
Yeah.
But it worked out at the end, and Falcons able to just maneuver their way through and make it out.
It definitely did. Do you think, I know that was the only Sandhawk that we're going to be playing for today, but going into tomorrow, do you think these teams are going to be able to maybe readjust in regards to the hot drops, Max?
If you're talking about AXTMG versus Nongshim Red Force as like that one hot drop, I think that I want to see AXTMG give up on it.
I do too.
Frank, because
even though they won?
Yeah, because it's a 50-50, right?
Yep.
If they lost one player, guess what? Your chances of making it that far in the game is going to go down drastically. I think you go back to Northwest. Guess what? Camp Alpha is open. No teams dropped there, but we're also going to have different groups now I think about it. So maybe you'd have to think about it a bit more. It might not be free tomorrow, but the previous drop was fine.
Yeah.
If you can go there again, just go and play your game.
Now, Neptura, for this match, you got a chance to talk about Team Falcons. You got a chance to talk about some of the other teams as well. Is there anything that kind of surprised you from what you saw here happening in the first game?
I kind of want to say actually Team Vision in the final phase up against DRX. I thought they could actually win it against DRX. They looked really mobile. They looked really aggressive. They had that momentum going. Just DRX's nades were able to pull through. But actually Team Vision, I was like, okay, nice. A little bit of a step up. I'm going to be looking for them.
Yeah, there was one player of DRX, I forgot who it was exactly, but that played very respectfully at one point. They were taking so much damage from Team Vision. He goes back, goes for a first aid, and the moment he comes back up, he gets onto the front line, holds a little bit more space to keep his team safe. Hopefully they don't get fleshed out. Fleshed out, they could be also. But they don't lose those players.
Yeah.
He gets in nade range, gets an amazing nade. I think he gets 3 eliminations at the end onto Team Vision, gets everyone confirmed, and then they can just start getting the res, getting full control of the high ground, and even then Falcons, I think they could have won if they pushed it right after that fight, but they had very limited information, which makes it a little bit hard for you to commit to a play when you don't know what is still available on the opposing side.
I was really happy, especially when we saw that push on Hora Esports. The way that they were able to just finish that off without losing any players, that's the consistency that I want to continue to see out of that team. Now, as mentioned, Hora, that brings something up there, Max?
I was going to talk about Team Vision again, actually.
Okay, go
they
for
get
it.
a knock onto WBG.
Yes.
They instantly send it. They were so confident, which you know some teams that maybe are playing for the first time at a global event, they're like, no, WBG? Who the hell is that? We're going to send it regardless. So I love to see a team like that. They're seen as an underdog. Be confident. That is what you need if you want to go for the trophy.
I mean, the crowd is hyped. I'm hyped. I'm glad that we got a chance to see Falcons and kind of like, in a way, some of the top teams as well being able to at least put up some eliminations under here. Now, I want you to give me just a quick name. Going into Erangel, which team are you going to be looking at, Natura?
WBG.
Ooh, okay, Max.
Regnum Karya.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's send it over to Blank and Jackie, and let's see maybe which teams you guys have in mind.
Hey, thank you, Seven. I'm excited for this one, man. You know what? It's a spicy question. I'm liking it. He's not only desk hosting, he's cast hosting, he's doing it all. Go on, Blank. Who do you think? Who's going to show up here today?
I think what I'm looking at least. I'm kind of looking at Power, to be honest with you, and their drop over towards Yasnaya, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a potential chance that they drop alongside with Weibo Gaming, and I'd be interested to see how that hot drop happens, because a lot of times, you can comfortably control Yasnaya on both sides. I do wonder if Weibo is going to be a little bit unhappy with a team dropping with them. We'll have to wait and see, because a lot of these drops can change. Also, Team Falcons in PMSL EU, they really struggle with Papada Supermassive actually dropping on top of them in Pachinki. It really hurt their league stage. I'll see if because right now Kinotrope could drop on them potentially, but we'll see. We'll see, because I do think Team Falcons needs that spot on the map to succeed, especially with Angle being 3 matches a day.
No, I'm liking it. I like the setup here. You give some sort of good thought there for some of the storylines, Blank. I think it's in. Yeah, no worries. I got you, homie. But I think it's a good storyline as well in the sense of power, because that is actually literally like a power struggle. If you think about sort of the opening result from the first game there, you do squeeze out 2 points with Easy being able to get the backstab off late onto Influence Rage. But outside of that was a hot drop that obviously was a heavy hand straight to the face, right? Another rough outcome here, another rough start. I feel like it compounds so quickly, dude. Day one, hot drop after hot drop. If it all starts to go wrong, you build a very slippery slope for yourselves. So I'd love to see them fix that before we're saying, oh, game 3, it's not looking great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for Power as well, the big issue for them is that most of the tournaments that we've seen them in internationally, it's always been pretty bad start to squeezing out a qualification right at the end there, or just barely missing out on a qualification. And I think that that's something that Power just can't afford to have. When we've seen Power done the best in the past, it's where they get a really clean start, they get out the gate running. That's when they do very, very well. So I think that kind of momentum buster towards the beginning of the tournament will hurt this team.
Yeah, you've got to feed the hot hand a little bit. You know, one thing that I think we noticed a lot last year as well was the difference of the body language from that team. When things are on, like you say, the confidence is there, they're feeling themselves, you see the happiness. When things aren't on, it does take a little bit of a different turn.
Al-Haji has this astonishing capability to either look like the angriest guy in the room or the happiest dude on earth. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Hopefully we get to see the more happy side of Al-Haji. We want to see Al happy. That's what we want to see.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. No, 100%, man. I think that human element of PUBG Mobile is something that sometimes sort of take for granted, right? Especially more so when we're online. You don't get that all the time to see the real sort of emotions for a team. And it really does run through you, especially in this kind of environment, right? Like grand stage, very different, all encompassing with how you're sort of down in the middle, all of your other opponents around you, the crowd onlooking from all angles. Yeah, the anticipation and pressure could build up quite quickly. If you're just joining us as well, we're getting ready to kick off our second outing of the day here for the PUBG Mobile World Cup, live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia at the ESPORTS World Cup 2025. First game had some great storylines to it. They broke it down very succinctly on the desk there. We were saying the highlights, well, the ebb and flow of Vision, looking like they had a great control of the early game. Good mid-portion with the fights they took. Late game, though, comedy of errors in that encounter where they sort of shoved themselves into harm's way. Blank, DRX being able to pull the wool over everyone's eyes. Very passive but smart fights. Little backstab, little moments, all building to good map control that resulted in them getting a great chicken dinner. And then, of course, Galacticus coming at you like a supervillain, just ruining everyone, Blank. Eliminations on, what was that? Another elimination.
It's right, we were stacking them. We were stacking them. We were looking like a wedding cake of eliminations during that game. And I think the thing is that for Yangon Galacticos, when you were looking at them during that match, they were just compounding elimination after elimination. They went up to 7 elims, then it was suddenly 11, then we're finishing on 14. I was like, where are they all coming from? But it's just some very clean sweeps across the board. So for Yandon Galacticos, I do want to see more of that, please.
Oh, yes.
Honestly. But yeah, I think for DRX as well, it's good that you bring them up because there's some big boosts to fill for South Korea, especially after last year's PMGC with D+ actually winning that over in London. But for DRX, I do think that they have some very, very strong players on side, some very storied players on side. I mean, Hyunbin's been around for many, many years and has always been quite successful, and that's a good way to start things out. For South Korea in general, the macro is very, very good.
It really is. It really is. You know what, though? I think we're having a good time right now setting the stage, but why don't you see how much fun the players have been having? Check this out. Oh yes, as you can see, they've been enjoying themselves thoroughly. Blank winning prizes, showing us the spins with the basketballs, and exploring all that Boulevard City has to offer, it seems.
Yeah, I loved it. You know, they took Regnum Kaya out. They had a great time. They were on the basketballs, and then they put Team Falcons in a dark room.
Yeah, that's where they went. They went
keep
off.
them guarded, you know, ready to come back and defend that title.
Hey man, there's a lot of fans. There's a lot of fans for them, you know. Yeah, the Falcons' nest, they had to roost and wait for them all to blow over.
It's cool. They've got their own place as well. They can all practice and make sure that they're tipped off and ready to go.
And all for the fans that you can see before you. Obviously, a large segment here where everyone's getting riled up.
He loves doing that.
That's what it's like the Wu-Tang, but it's the Falcons, like Bird. It's interesting.
Every time that camera's on him, though,
he's going for it. He knows.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Yeah. Camera 1, camera 2, I'm on it.
Camera 8, yeah, I've got a Falcon for you.
Yeah. Caw-caw. If you see him in the distance, he's probably doing it.
What noise does a Falcon make, like? What's it like glides through the air?
Yeah.
All right, pretty good. You've owned me there, actually. Obviously, you know, trying to get you to do a bird noise, but I'll take it. Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
That's it walking?
Was that its feet?
That was it walking.
Pretty good, actually. It's kind of realistic. Yeah.
Doing my best.
Wow. I didn't realise you were such a good Foley artist.
Yeah, no, I've got like a tambourine at home. You know, a little snare drum I use as well.
Rain stick?
Yeah, rain stick's important. Damn. Yeah. It was actually me who does a lot of the rain sounds, a lot of the movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, little known fact, you might not know this. All of the gun sounds in PUBG Mobile, that was you.
That's me.
That was actually Blank. He did those with his mouth. Like, kind of impressive, really.
It is. It's basically all the gun sounds that you hear is me walloping my lips against quite a hard material. And then I pitch it right down.
Yeah.
And then bass boost it.
You were saying you could do the DBS live, though, right? That's one you just do normally.
Yeah.
Do the acapella for the DBS.
Give me one.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. It's quite scary. I felt like we'd hot dropped. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, man. I'm looking to really improve on the S12K at some point. Because we're using the silencer on that thing. I quite like how it sounds, just no bass.
Right. Okay.
So I think we'll be looking into that one.
How did you do the explosive bow? Was that just that takes some time? That one sounded quite intense.
That was difficult. I actually had to procure an actual explosive bow.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. Well, that makes far more sense.
It was pretty tight timing as well.
Yeah, I suppose
they wanted it on a Tuesday. It was a Monday. I had to string the bow myself.
God.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, there you go. That was our new segment we're trying out here.
Yeah.
Facts with Blank.
Yeah. On basically instead of arrows, I was just using fireworks.
Yeah. Wow. There you go. So, all right. Brilliant. That's what we've gone for. If you enjoyed that, let us know, of course.
Check that out.
Yeah, check that out. Some more of this. Huzzah indeed. Of course, just waiting to get underway here with our second game. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering why you got some developer commentary going on and you're learning about how all the gun sounds are made in PUBG Mobile, well, don't worry. You haven't tuned into the wrong stream. You are in the right place and at absolutely the right time. And I think definitely, Blank, one of the ways I've described this, mate, is it is the right time for everyone but Alpha 7 in that first game. That just felt like it was so uncomfortable. The fights that they were thrown into, trapped in the compound, looking a bit lost, and they do look a bit deflated, I'm going to be honest.
I'll put it. For the rest of the team, maybe I look a little bit deflated, but I don't think I've ever seen Brevo like not looking like that in an international.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I suppose the bar, like you got to think about the bar.
Even when he won, it was a severe look.
It was a pretty we've done it.
Yeah, and then hats off to the guy. I saw a small smile and a couple of tears when they won. And that was really heartbreaking.
Pretty mint.
That was pretty heartbreaking for me as well, because the most emotion I've ever seen out of Revo. And I was like, damn, this actually does mean a lot to him.
It's got through his tough exterior.
We got 3 tears out of Revo, which is a big deal.
Yeah, it's mad. You don't really think of tears as individually, but
no, you don't.
Free,
but for Revo,
economy.
As soon as that third one formed, I was like, damn, this This is big news.
He loves it. He's really happy. But yeah, obviously not happy at the minute. We'll see if they can perk themselves up, though. It's going to be a bit of a rough day.
The thing is that technically they had the right idea of it, of where they wanted to play and why they wanted to play there. I think just a lot of other teams also had the same idea. And then Team Secret coming in later to backstab them is just tough.
I think it was more just the... it's one of those where for a team like that, we know how they can be when they're at their absolute best. So obviously you kind of look at it with a bit of a different microscope, right? You're painting it with a different brush. So it's when you're looking at it with the fire, what they set up. Yeah, you had the compound to play off, but some of the missed nades, some of the missed timings on the peaks, it just felt a little bit like it's not hitting instantly. You know, they've not woken up. It's all clicked. They're like, right, boys, we're back. Let's do it again. We could be the 2-time. We could run it back. Hyped up off it. It felt more like, okay, we've got to get into this. Like, wake up today. Let's take it bit by bit. And that's kind of what I was wondering, is how they'd look here specifically. Because I feel like it's a different caliber, right?
It is.
You've got so much emotion tied to this event.
There is a huge amount of emotion tied to this event. And funnily enough, we actually got a little bit of a surprise interview for you with Team Falcons. I'm going to check in with them, see how they're doing coming to this tournament.
I think I adapt really fast because the team is hardworking, same as me, and then that's the result of us getting like good plays.
They will fall in second here, most likely Asara being battered back. Koa doggedly in pursuit.
I will stay in Team Falcons for now, and then I would describe it as hardworking team.
But are they a funny team?
Good team. To be honest, I can deal with that easily. I don't have any pressure, even like between the fans or anyone. So I want to be remembered as PMWC champion and MVP.
There is a sense of circle up there for them. Ooh.
The confidence came from mostly from all of us training together, grinding, and every day motivating each other. It all depends how my teammates play, because nobody can play alone. I think the biggest challenge is going to be Alpha 7 on PMWC. Thank you all for following us and for supporting us, and see you on the next tournament.
Cool, with the Alpha 7 call out right away there. By the way, we are getting ready for the second match of the day, but we just want to take a little bit longer to get a chance to talk to you guys because, I mean, we got 2 hot drops in the first Sandhawk, Max. I wonder if we're going to be getting a little bit more hot drops here going into the first Erangel.
Theoretically, 2 could happen, right? We got one in Milta that's going to be Influence Rage versus Power. Power did already fight versus 4 Thrives in Houghton last game. I don't think they want to do 2 back-to-back. They lost versus 4 Thrives, so hopefully they can avoid that one. But the very important one here is going to be Regnum Karia versus AXTMG in Rozhok. You said, Niptura, last game, maybe they want to make a statement, start hot, have a little bit of momentum. Do you want to hot drop as AXTMG Regnum Karia?
Absolutely not.
I thought you were going to say just absolutely. I was like, are you crazy?
As much as I love Nongshim and Regnum Karia, 2 different breeds at Cat there, especially on an Erangel, right? Sandhawk, it's all up for debate really anyway. You can drop somewhere, but it doesn't really matter. Erangel, these drops have been decided, have been practiced time and time and time again. It's just the map that is the bread and butter. So you better be really confident that you're going to win if you're going to hot drop Regnum Karia on an Erangel.
Especially Rozhok. When I think Rozhok, I think Regnum Karia. That is the first team name that comes to mind. So if you're AXTMG, if you want to go there, you better have a game plan in mind, because that is not going to be an easy hot drop like early on Ruins.
I mean, if they're going to go for it, we know that they can win a hot drop. They were able to showcase it, but I want to refresh everybody's memory and just take a look at the match ranking from the first Sandhawk. So we see where everybody's currently standing. I mean, DRX coming out hot there with the win, 19 points. Yangon Galacticos, we mentioned it earlier too. Just what a massive surprise for me and Niptura, being able to just collect those 14 eliminations and then you just keep going down that list.
You do indeed. And actually, I think there's a lot of teams on the top of that list, 1 game in, but that we didn't really expect to see. As you said, Sandhawk was kind of the underdog game coming into this. I mean, Yangon Galacticos, you've got Team Vision, you've got E-Arena, I think, has got a lot of hype, but not necessarily a lot of sort of backup with that. necessarily. There's a lot of people who don't know who they are, and so I feel like they have actually come into their own.
Something to keep in mind too is look how top heavy that first match was.
Oh yeah.
Like 6 plays, you go from 10 all the way down to 4, and then you just keep going down 2 and 2. So this is something that a lot of these other teams gonna watch out, because if they do have pop-up performances, I mean, we're talking about how insane this lobby is. It showcases. If teams pop off, they definitely pop off in a massive way.
Oh, we got so many 0 points.
Yo.
Look at those.
Oh, those are the 4 teams not
don't
playing
look at the
today?
donuts.
No, they are playing today. Please, sir, can you spare some points? We would love some at the bottom of the ranking. But it was, as you said, 7 them very top heavy. Actually, we saw some decent points coming in for Team Secret and E-Arena. I had a very funny chat with all of the SEA talent lineup. And the Indonesian talent, I asked them, do you guys think there's any team from SEA that could win here at PMWC? And they instantly, I'm talking not even a second to think, all said no. They think no. They said E-Arena, maybe they could win, but they said Team Secret no, and the side of Alter Ego no. So that's quite surprising, because they have been favorites in the past, but even the local talent said it ain't happening, bro.
I mean, it does seem like it's gonna be just one of those things of we got to be able to get to see more from them before we start putting our faith in them.
Well, we've been talking about Sandhog. We wanted just to do a quick little recap there on what happened and just show everybody what's happening in regards to the match ranking. But I think it's time. I think it's time we send it back to Blank and Jackie for the first Erangel.
Oh, yeah. We'll run it right back, 7. No one will even know. They'll think it's the first throw. They'll think they're tuning in, ready for this.
A groin-splitting split.
I don't think like what was his name? Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No. Yeah. Was it Van Damme? Yeah, with the jeans. With the jeans.
Yeah, it was Van Damme, wasn't it?
Yeah. That would be the guy. That's what we're watching here. So. The Van Damme split.
Van Damme split, you're not wrong. Oh, okay. So obviously we were alluding to this a little bit. We were setting up the fact that Power could have had a bit of a drop on the Weibo, but it's not what we've seen. Instead, it's Influence, Rage that are here, actually getting a bit of their own back for Easy, who had the flank in the first map, obviously being able to instantly get the damage out. Al-Haji, not ideal. A big man for the team, but not able to deliver on that first encounter. For Dan as well, you have eaten that nade.
Ooh. But hey, Dan, just down. And it's unfortunate to see, honestly. I think what typically happens with Aiden is that when Al-Haji goes down, he really struggles. When he's up, he plays kind of the centerpiece to that role where you do need him on the off angle to support Al-Haji when he goes to those pretty insane rollouts. But yeah, now just Ragnar and Easy try and make it happen. Got the doolies.
Kind of bait on a peak. Wild spray of bullets, but teamwork's there for the close quarters engagement. It's not ideal. And again, literally the same story, bro. This is the worst outcome, right? Just Easy left alone as the solo, if he even makes it out. But everyone's gunning for him. Want to confirm the full wipe on the squad. That'd be Power Gaming going down as effectively the first full knock. in both of the maps. Elevated angle over the top, looking to dive onto him, will eventually clean up. Took a bit of time to find it, but Easy's gone. You can get the save back onto him there. So power out.
Spat out his chewing gum. I'm so happy about it.
Success.
That's a successful push. They chew down over towards power. I'll tell you that right now for Influence Rage. It was fresh, mate. Yeah, I think that honestly on Milter, there was no way that Easy was getting out from there. You're backing it up to where he was. It was just complete open ground. There's a couple of buildings, and they would just isolate his position, located him, targeted him fairly quickly. But it's a quick cleanup over towards Milter as well.
It was. Obviously, we were kind of setting this one up with a bit of a breakdown on the split situation there. It's 4 Thrives that would be in the middle of the group reconnecting from that side if you're making the late rotate in from Sosnovka. I am curious to see how we will actually end up playing over the course of this one, because they're setting up the idea like, oh, a bit of a chance there. We'll see if Power Gaming can start things off better. Didn't go that way. It wasn't the storyline we got. Again, results them going down first. You've got potential as well. I think the longer these games go on, Blank, the longer the day goes on, potentially even for them. I think this is where we're going to see more and more of that team being able to deliver. There's so much talent on there. The tip of everyone's tongue saying that this could be the chance for that side of the region. They start showing up again. So I'm curious if they're showing us a bit of innovation for some of these plays.
Yeah, I sort of understand it where you send Sukat down towards Sosnovka on the eventuality it is the south circle. But even then, like, you could make an efficient rotation across, and maybe it's a case where Suk in that situation just takes some pot shots over towards 4 Thrives as they make their way across the bridge, and then they can group up. But I think that the risk doesn't outweigh the reward here, honestly. It's going to be difficult to get back together. There's potential that Suk can take some vehicles, take a boat back around towards them, but by then you have delayed your rotation by a ton. For Falcons, on the other hand, no hot drop over towards there. Though my main takeaway from this game is because it's such a southern playing path, it doesn't really tell us too much about the drop spots, because these were a lot of backups being used.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. It's a good point to keep in mind, obviously, in terms of how it's going to affect things here. Give us some different results over the course of the day.
I was stressing going into the next match. They're like, do we want to drop Yasnaya?
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's the awkward part. Because obviously, once it kind of is forgivable and it feels a bit rough and you can fix it, the second time it happens, that's when it is instantly like, we're at the halfway point of the day, boys. Like,
yeah.
It's already creeped up on us, you know?
So, how do you fix this? You have to get the screwdriver and kit out, figure out where the loose screw is.
I suppose at least the only blessing, like Max was saying, there is a decent gap. If you look towards, obviously, what, 6th upwards, it's not that much of a difference with points, right? So, like, obviously, if you just actually start to build your way back in, and everyone else doesn't have a crazy spread, then maybe it's not the end of the world. But the likelihood of that obviously has a lot of bells and whistles attached to it.
Yeah, and as we know, Jackie, for the group stage we're starting off with, it really isn't that unforgivable to go down too early. We're going to get 8 teams going through towards straight through, and then we have 8 teams going through to the survival stage, battling it out, right? That's what we want to see here. So there is still a lot of chance for our squads to remain in this one for a long, long time. So it will be 16 teams in that survival stage. 8 of our top teams will be heading straight through towards those finals we'll be playing later. So we won't really see any teams or their keys being crushed until after that survival stage.
Yeah, you've got to wait for the spectacle. Like Barney was teasing, when the iris opens, sparks will be flying. So you won't want to miss that as the action develops here. I was kind of hoping a little bit, actually, we would get a run-in between these two with how good Yangon Galacticus looked into the previous matchup with Alpha 7 on the roam over. And it's DRX in the back line, so potential for the rotates in actually being quite spicy when the fights break out.
Yangon Galacticos pretty close towards what I would say is a fairly central position. Now roaming around towards gas station, and that side of the map pretty barren over towards the pizza slice that just sits on the northwest side of the map, which is very, very open. You don't really want to play around there. Always do find that cross from shooting range off to that eastern side is a bit more awkward, which is why you're seeing much more teams down towards that southeast around Yasnaya. and staying far enough away from the field. So there's a lot of treacherous zones here that you don't really want to go into. I'm sort of surprised we don't have any teams trying to bank over towards Rozok. I guess for Regnum Karya, they're keeping a player back in wild so he can quickly dash back over towards Rozok if needs be.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair. Let's see though. Let's see what this is going to do in terms of the shift and how the zone rotate will affect things. Blank obviously favors some. More central overall, actually not too bad really, especially in terms of the group that you've got there. So DRX still being able to play on the outer edge, everyone else making their move in. Falcons obviously slight adjustment there. Pachinki obviously open entirely as well, so we're regrouping up. It's a late rotate in through the blue for Weebu, and they'll have their focus in on a little bit of a late joining.
I think, honestly though, for the circle, pretty rough. You have the entirety of the fields right here on the map, which is just bare open ground, and then the pizza slice I was talking about earlier, which is on that southwest side of Stalba, where the two roads make that kind of triangle slice. That is fairly open too. So this is pretty tough for a lot of teams to remain, and I would probably bank on at least 2 or 3 teams going down over the course of the next circle, maybe circle and a half.
Definitely a lot of potential. Not much cover to play with, limited opportunities for the compound, so fights could be coming your way.
Absolutely, you're right. Team Falcons down towards the southwest edge. Like you said, Chinky was free as they'd left it quite early, but they're going to have to get past school right now. They're over towards apartments. A little bit more difficult to see because we are cramming 15 teams into a small space because they're all avoiding that fielded area. They're trying to take up space around some of the remaining compounds. You have the river that cuts through into the lake. It's a weird circle. It's a very weird circle. I do like this position DRX has, though Alpha 7 is waiting in the wings. Mafioso underneath. This typically is a really good spot to catch teams playing on those outer shacks and outposts just over towards the western side of Yasnaya on the lake. You can control a lot of area from this top side. Now, how will DRX handle Alpha 7 though? Because the rest of the team is making their way on over with Creo, Squash and Revo just off towards the west.
It's Mafioso just playing on the lip here of the rock face. He's had the vehicles approaching, the engine giving that away. Just tucks in, has to play on the off angle realistically. If they peek into him, he seems like he's got a good read on the situation at least, but spacing from the teammates relatively far. DRX trying to get a lay of the land, assess if anyone else is coming in from the other side. Didn't actually find him. He pushed up towards the rock face as well on the peak. He leaned in for it, but neither one gave away the info fully. So obviously it's just the audio he's playing off for now, staying tucked in. If they push ahead of him, could backstab them really nicely.
They have no idea. They're properly confused on what's occurring. We're going to get our next circle. And it wasn't as treacherous as I thought it was going to be. This one is going to push a lot of teams away from the field, at least from Yasnaya, so teams could be happy about that, but it's across the river. Jackie, over towards AX, E-Arena. Weibo's made a good wrap, actually, as well, over towards this north side. They are coming through that open ground, and Alpha 7 could chime in over towards that western side. We'll see how it happens, but Alpha 7 is so focused on taking over towards DRX, but DRX is left.
Join now with Alpha 7's POV straight back in, and this is what you were saying, the rotate over there, taking shots from the back line. Squash, we know that he can be talented, and unloading at the minute, snapshots over the top just as they tuck into the compound. A lot of chip damage onto them, yeah, massively so, and you can follow up from it as well. I mean, Order in a horrific position, they just keep finding these knocks. Late game rotate, like it's been nice for them, but it results in this.
That's an important knock over towards Yangon. Galacticos coming through from RCB. But Weibo Gaming can get themselves back up. This is a Hail Mary of a play, Jackie, all right? In terms of where they are on the map, it's very, very central. They'll take the Wizard Tower here, which works out nicely. But they need to basically hold this position for the rest of the game. The vehicles are shot to bits. The tires are going to be all popped by the time they get out to them. So Weibo Game is not moving. At least not until the end game.
No. Well, what are you doing? Mate, he actually made it in. Oh, it couldn't have been better timing on it. Straight Benny Hills out up the stairs, wanting to get himself into the high ground.
This is a risky play.
No, it's there's
no one there to help him.
He just went for it.
It's like, we need the high ground.
Yeah.
We need to play off the high ground.
I've got to go.
I've got to go. I've got to go.
I've got to go. And he did. Go, he did.
Yeah. So that was literally a player. I guess the reason they do it is that making that play later, you're going to have 3 or 4 teams looking at you. So this was the only time to do it. Respect the fact that, you know, when it's crunch time, they're ready to play inside the crunch.
I mean, like, honestly, they've been kind of subverting expectations already with this matchup, even if it hasn't been just off the back like, oh, we're seeing some crazy gun skill. They're keeping you guessing a little bit, which at times, thriving in the chaos, can be incredibly beneficial. Seems like non-ship Red Force taking a knock there, though. We've got a bit of a follow-up as well, with AX getting thrown into the fight. Falcons, of course, here having a whole load of shrapnel thrown towards them. Narvalo is down. Still in a position where he could tuck around the back of the stairs and be saved at least. Arian trying to just throw out some bullets to keep them guessing. Does he actually want to push up? It's a nice nade over towards where Koa is. He cooked this one perfectly. Chuck it in top.
Ooh, it's pretty nice, actually, yeah. I think for AX, they're way more concerned about this next circle. Jackie, the amount of water in this is staggering, only for it to be over towards that southeast side with the fields.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous body of water. You think about the limited amount of space you've actually got to play with in the zone because of this. Okay. I mean, this has already been a bit of a cheeky one, Lang. So let's see where it goes. Nongshim Red Force here, just eating bullets, trying to use the water as some sort of additional cover to work with, throw it off, but no. I mean, Alpha 7, eyes like a hawk at the minute, dialing onto them. We do say goodbye to another one of our squads here. Going out second, of course, with Power Game will be the only full wipe that we had way back at the start of the game. That's why there's so many teams still in play here this late into the matchup.
And this is a really interesting position from Regnum Karya, where they're underneath the bridge right now. They're playing the bridge, but the fact that no other team has really challenged that position as well is a staggering thought to me, honestly, because a lot of times you'll have teams on either side. So Regnum Karya being able to hold this, it doesn't seem like the best position in the world to be literally on the iron girders underneath there. But it does keep you alive a long, long time. Doesn't always necessarily give you the winning position of the game, but I think for a lot of teams, survival is quite important in this particular match with this kind of circle.
Okay, his 2 names we haven't had to say too much during this matchup, but of course were very prevalent in our first outing of the day. You've got 4 Fribes and also Vision. They're both fighting down towards the outskirts. Similar kind of setup here, actually, with some of the teams that could be going head-to-head relatively soon. AX on the force down with E-Arena coming in from the back line. Henry might get caught. And you've got Falcons that will be waiting in the wings as they get lower down towards the roadside as well, with Vision onto them. Oh dear, Blank. Potential for some interesting little bouts here. It's a widespread, though, from the arena. So they've got a lot of a lay of the land onto it. They can try and get a bit of vision onto the backside with DRX and Alpha 7.
He can't really afford to play anything too close here for E-Arena, because the space is just absolutely diabolical to play in. IQ, very, very good player. Been playing for a long, long time. Smart guy, hence the name. Looking to lead for Thrives. Towards a victorious push here versus Vision. They already find some good damage over their way. He's slowing it down. He's running circles around them.
Vision realistically just have not had an opportunity to move too much over the course of the past few minutes. We'll come back to that for as it's DRX. They've got the opening chicken dinner of the day. Now they're just being given an explosive breakfast with Nitro being thrown their way. Nade after nade on top. Weibo as well, still being able to get stuck into the fight from the side as the bullets hit. Hyunbin on the nade back, good for 1, but he's got a full army coming his way. I mean, this is E-Arena, the wall of smokes in front of him, effectively just him left. Everyone else has been taken out, so DRX, if they want to get the back-to-back wins, it would need to be an unbelievable effort just from Hyunbin with an awful lot to get done.
Yeah, he's in a bit of a struggle position. Luckily for him, E-Arena is getting walloped from the sidelines. Oh, what a problematic smoke there. Dissipates. And his eyebrows raise and are visible to E-Arena. Falcons somehow make their way in front of AX here, which is nice, and obviously take out the opposition. But what a disgusting circle this is. All lake, all field. Fireflux currently holding down towards Vision and 4 Thrive, so even if one of those teams gets away with their life, they're still going to have to deal with shots coming through. But Vision actually able to sneak on past using that ridgeline on the west towards the roadside to make that happen.
Nade after nade. It's good damage. AX being able to find opportunities to fight on their terms in both matchups we've seen today. Going for the full crash as well. The Rhino maneuver with the vehicles over the top side, hitting heavy onto the Falcons. Now Valo at least with the reply back, good for one. But the nade on top of the team. Oh, Henry goes down and so do the Falcons. Oh mate, feels like no one really wins there.
To be honest, I think that should have been an AX just wipe, and now Valo plays a risky game, drops a nade at his feet, finds 2 on the knocks. Somehow it happens, Team Secret, Lil Boy will go down. That's Jaiki in the back there. This is Team Secret all the way on the northeast side, coming out from Yasnaya. Alpha 7 made a big swim down towards the center of the circle. As we said before, Weibo have just not been able to move all that much. Their vehicles are shot. It is Yangon Galacticos still making this one happen, though they lose Say Cloud.
It's nice seeing the energy as well from Team Secret actually into this one. A lot of yelling already from them on the player cams. You can see they're trying to keep themselves fired up. Opportunity to steal away a couple of elims so far. And it's put them in a pretty good spot. I mean, you know, Influence Rage, top spot with 6 points, but you're at a close second, still able to build more as well. We've got 4 players alive. Now, off the back of what was a crazy dive in, Order still from a position to find more impact. Team Secret still popping up there and again and again.
Regnum Kaya, they've got a lockdown on this western side of the circle. It's such a nice place to be in where you really don't have much competition. They can get involved when they want, playing off from this bridge position. And again, a lot of teams didn't put stock in this, and I don't know why Regnum Kaya was the only team to make that choice earlier on. Pick this one up. And to be honest, it's a bit of a change, honestly, from their usual play. I think that they took their time moving from Rozhok a little bit further across towards apartments. A fair few times on these kind of circles, they've been caught out where they move too far and too fast. The circle ends up coming back their way, and then they struggle in the future because of it. And it should have been an easy pickup. Order attempts to make the cross, and that will be one. More in the pocket of Regnum Kaya.
Yeah, the man himself, Silas, on screens, looking to find some impact on this one and build up the elims for him from the position they've got with the cover to play off. Now Weeboo been taking their time. Feels like they've been, you know, given a bit of plot armor with some of the fights they've survived throughout this map. Maybe that's about to change. It's a good peek in. Loxy lops them up, shuts down one. There's the reposition close into the ridge as well. The rest of the squad not really in a position to attempt to trade, but the angles just don't favour you. You've got covered either on that side with the rock face, you've got vehicles to play off of. Toxic with a quick peek, good headshot there.
Yeah, that was nuts from Toshbek. So low though, but you need to get that headshot coming through from the Mini 14. Stake 3Z going down, just Sook remaining, our slightly more unorthodox player coming through from Weibo. On that big split they had earlier on. Alpha 7 do make it across, by the way. They got a heavy amount of damage, but managed to make it happen. Toshbek looking now, but you can see from staying in this spot for a long, long time, resources aren't looking all that great.
Yeah, running low. That's the factor that could come back to bite them the longer this one goes on. I was curious to see if things would keep developing in a good manner for Team Secret as well, as they had a nice little bit of choreography there for a while. They were finding fights where it looked like it was working well. I mean, up to 6 elims, but they've been shot in the back. They do at least still get the knocked player back up, so it's going to be okay to reset from it. That's the last remaining member of E Arena as well, just down towards the coastline there in Joker. Meanwhile, Alpha 7 low here on resources, but can they build back up from forcing out?
What are you doing, Carrillo?
Oh, mate, what's happening? Landed him.
Hey, his initial fight from earlier on versus Influence Rage, and Drang just holding it down in that front line. Diego goes down to Hopper from Lil Boy, and he just holds the angle apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. Kind of setting this one up where it's like, oh, this could be big for them, force them out, take the position off them, get some gear. Nade to the back of the face. Love that, but let's see if they can save Revo, get him back in the fight. Meanwhile, they're being collapsed upon though. So this is Hora coming in from the top as well, looking to really put the pressure on here. No fear, living up to his name. Nade over the top, burst in air. Hora with the first knock back over. Seems like Silas as well, taking that one straight to the dome. It's a free pointer. Oh, mate, beautiful work done. We move out in the meantime. Sleep, he has his legs blown out on the nade back over from Alpha 7.
If he hits this. It's so close, bro. That second nade was unbelievable, but Forever was able to make his way down and hit the shot. Regnum Kaya will go out there. 6 elims. I think that was a good game from Regnum Kaya, all things said. They just got themselves into a position where couldn't quite figure out a way to remove themselves from it. Again, I don't think the circle favors them at all here. So I do think it was decent. For Carrillo, yeah, head down focused. Definitely should feel a little bit guilty about what he just did over towards Revo, who was revving up to get a good nade over towards Regnum Kaya earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like you say, if you can at least recover it individually, then it'll be all right. We can forget about the bad times and the possibility of it maybe being better than it should have been. But we'll go from here. You forced out the team underneath, so no one blocking your path. It allows at least a bit of a reset from Hora. A lot invested into that, though. Unfortunately for them, they were hoping it would be way cleaner, right, on the dive in with a third party. You get left with just 2 players. It is going to slow you down. So many nades used as well from them. So back pockets relatively empty, and there's not much to pilfer from what was underneath the bridge.
Yeah, this is such a weird circle as well. You do not see this kind of circle for many, many months at a time. It's a very, very odd one. I don't think I've seen the circle end up around here for a long, long, long time. Pretty much for Thrivesource, Fireflux do have a big position here purely because they have the ridgeline to play around between one another. It's going to be Hora, No Fear, Alpha 7, Team Secret, and potentially E Arena who's going to be getting themselves involved with one another. Obviously, the big difficulty though for Thrives and Fireflux is that eventually that ridgeline is going to be useless to them because they're going to have to move over towards that north side.
Well, Hora might have just outlived potential expiry date they've had on this one. No Fear, the last to fall, as Revo will get revenge for the damage back over into the previous encounter towards the bridge. And he can save his teammates. You also have 2 of the Alpha 7 squad alive and kicking, trying to play off each other here. Let's see, maybe they can build themselves back in, have a great start into the second game of the day, and show us the reigning champs have a lot of fight left in them. Team Secret though, Blanket, I'm curious to see actually if they could show up on this one. It's been nice from some of the mid-game fights that we saw them taking, and I love how fired up they look. Like instantly into this matchup, they're yelling, they're going for all of the good comms. That's not what you want though. Sideline shot back over, quick trade, headshot onto Revo with a mini 14. It's a nice knock again. They're feeling the pressure from this position.
It's bad though. This is the worst time for Revo to be able to find a shot like that. For Alpha 7, they're far into the circle already, but this next one's going to start to push them. And to be honest, in that moment, Team Secret likely wanted to start finding a bit of a foothold in the future. You can see Fireflux here locked into the tiniest ditch available, and the circle is going to continue to push them further inwards. I like the way 4 Thrives is playing this. They've got that lineup, so even if Fireflux are able to send a nade across, they've got way more space to play in, and they are taking advantage of that space as well. These nades have got to be absolutely sublime from Fireflux.
Had a decent amount of them to work with as well, and you can see how they're setting this up. Good comms on it, slightly staggered with the nades going over. Looking to make sure they can commit onto the knock player just a little bit shallow. It's such a substantial distance though. Definitely trying to see if they could force out 4 Thrives members and punish them Oh, this could be good. Perfect timing. Waits for the peek up. Slap back over though, Blank. It's not for free. They're actually able to at least get a quick trade onto him. So good heads up play.
The Bush had a framework made of metal, stopped that buggy in its tracks. The Five looks ruined by that moment. They really just wanted to get across and start taking shots at the two players remaining from 4 Thrives. In the meantime, though, Madcap will go down, as will Scarface, and it's looking pretty grim right now for Fireflux. Alpha 7 and Carrillo, as well as Revo, I mean, that is a dynamic duo and a half, and they could make something work out of this game.
Potentially so. There's always a chance. There really is. Fortunately for 4 Thrives, now it's just one that has to thrive. That's all that's left for them. And like you say, a bit of a split there. 2 teams in terms of the battle of attrition that do have 3 players alive, but limited resources to play with, and the cover really isn't there for most of these squads. So closing the gap between one another, it's risky. It's all or nothing. You've got to peek in, off your teammates' contact, and commit to those elims. You can't mess around on this one. And Secret looking very agitated, obviously aware of the Alpha 7 position, knowing it's do or die on the peak.
For Team Secret, the lucky thing for them is that they have a lot of hard cover in front of them, and those rocks, as well as the tree line. This is wild from 4 Thrives, but they knew where Ketch was, and they're just looking for 3rd place. It's a smart maneuver. They're going to confirm points. I actually like a team that does that, that takes it into their own. What?
Okay, goodbye Team Secret. That's how that goes, mate. The damage over the top with an aid, and the absolute aggression from Alpha 7 that throws us back into a head-to-head 1 versus 2. Revo looking to let it rip on the shots over the top, and there you go. Alpha 7, your reigning champions. They might have struggled on the first game, but they're back. They mean business, and they take that one home.
I mean, that's an apology and a half from Carrillo. I'm going to win the game for you. I'm going to win the game for you. Trust me, trust me. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I mean, I was praising 4 Thrives for the fact that they knew where Ketch was, and they were like, we're going to just secure a 3rd place. We'll leave Noki behind, and then he could try and go for a 2nd or a 1st if he's lucky. And in that moment, I think Team Secret gets so flustered, these just get torn to pieces. But there was so much opportunity, in my opinion. It's 2 guys from Alpha 7. They're more putting presence and everything behind those rocks. You just send out over towards that hard cover, towards that tree line, instead of sitting behind that vehicle. You have a much better chance towards that late game. And I think it was just that menacing characteristic from Alpha 7 that kept Team Secret in an odd spot.
Yeah, it felt like Secret into that matchup, you know, they had some good knocks from the sidelines where they were able to play off a bit more of a passive position. But by the end...
Talk about the grenade!
Yeah, I know he's just giving it. He's just giving it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is ironic, right? And that was the only outcome. Like, you gotta just win it. If you just win it, doesn't matter. We'll be fine. And that's what he does. That's what Alpha 7 do. And you are going to wait until we're back in a few moments' time. We'll see you in a sec.
The defending champions making sure they show up in the first day, and boy did they end up showing up in a big way as they were able to clutch up a win here on the first Erangel of the day. Max, I'm going to be sending it to you right away, and I'm going to be calling you out because you kind of did a bit of a reverse curse on them. You were saying this team is just going to get absolutely eliminated with the rotation that they were doing with that swim play. It ended up working out for them, Max.
If you guys want to know what I was saying backstage while that game was happening, I was just like, no way Alpha 7 win it. No way Alpha 7 win it. No way? Right? Like, I really thought there's no way in hell that swim across Yasnaya Lake was going to work out because you had Influence Rage still behind them. You still had Arena, and they lost 2 players because of the rotation. But then the best bromance in PUBG Mobile Esports happened in Revo and Carrillo constantly healing each other and just creating space and winning as a duo against full squads. What was that?
I got a little bit more. If you didn't think that swim was the right play, right? I felt completely different to that. What do you want to see from that team in regards to just that play? You don't want to see them swim, then what do you want to see?
So I do like the idea to swim across and get access to that ridge. I think that's a good idea. The timing was a bit off. I would like to see them defend the northern side against E-Arena and Influence, because if they eliminate those 2 teams, maybe they survive as a 4-man team and actually make it to the ridge and have an easier time to get that chicken dinner, maybe even get more eliminations. So I think that clearing the backside was lacking here and could have made that play even easier to execute.
Yeah, I think so as well, but we did have WBG as well in the back there, which added problems to any of the rotations. I mean, it was kind of the lesser of 2 evils, really, because WBG, A7 had a really good position in the beginning of that kind of late phase. That compound was phenomenal for them, controlled a lot of that northern ground. WBG coming in, they were like, not on our watch, you're not. But actually, with A7 swimming across, WBG were actually able to turn the tide and go, actually, not on our watch.
Yeah.
We're going to take you out. So it was a little bit of a back and forth there.
One thing that ended up helping out Alpha 7 was that Regnum Karya was there in a way to stop any WBG push. And I feel like that was the turning point. And then on top of that, Max, or Neptura, we did end up seeing a bit of a third party by Hora Esports, which we weren't too happy about.
It's a little overextending, wasn't it? They went, oh, we have an opportunity, go for it. Wait, no, nades, help.
I do like the idea of third partying, but you got such an open, flat terrain between their position of Regnum and their own little gas station that you can just play it very passive, wait for them to push out and just nade it, Molotov the position. I don't really care how you want to do it. I think you want to hold that spot to then go fight into 4th rise. But looking at the match rankings here, 20-point bomb here, dropped by Alpha 7 here on their second match on the Wrangle. Really, really good game, and again, as a duo here, so doing a statement at the very start of the tournament.
Another team, too. 4th Thrives Esports, one of the dark horses, at least for me. 15 points, and 9 of those coming in from eliminations.
It's really nice to see. I think we've seen actually a really good game for them. I liked the position because typically we see them do a lot of third party. Certainly in Sandhawk, the name of the game for them was that third party initiative. But here they actually played it as a 4-man squad in a field, playing for position, playing the position in zone as well. And I think it was actually a really nice difference to see from them.
We've seen a lot of Pakistani teams making globals like I8, now we've got 4th Thrives. Do we all agree that this is the best chance we have of a Pakistani team winning a global? Because this team is looking amazing.
100%.
I fully agree. I think we're also seeing one of the best players ever from Pakistan in Falak.
Oh, yeah. The 1-second nade specialist, you know. He's been having some great times in PMSL CSA. They're going on to the second page. DRX not quite able to follow through with their initial chicken dinner over on Stanok and getting 0 point the bubble here on Erangel. That's not good.
There towards the second page, one team that didn't get any placement points, but did end up getting some elimination points. AXTMG, Natura.
Yes, they did. I actually really liked how they played that against Falcons. The initial fight over onto Falcons in the guard tower, they tried it, saw that it wasn't going to go through, and they went, okay, cool, we're going to back off. Awesome, love that. Then Falcons actually took a position that was down on under a ridge a little bit. And I think it was really interesting that AXTMG actually took that and went, we're going to approach this as a third party. They did not full send. They didn't do anything. They used the ridge to scout around, to kind of run around the ridge, throw some nades. Once they got like a double knock, then they just full sent in. that is more like a third-party play than an actual 4v4 confrontation. So I thought that was actually really interesting because that is AXTMG's strength.
And then no survivors.
And then no survivors
remain in that wasteland of that fight. But I think actually there was another option available for AXTMG. I wish they would have opened up their third eye for a second and just saw that option, which is maybe third-partying Vision versus 4 Thrives in the southern side could have been a decent play. You go onto that bridge east of Rozhok, play it passive, you don't have to fight Falcons, because guess what? Even if they do win versus Falcons, later on you're going to have to cross Regnum Karya and WBG and Hora. So I think it would have been a good fight to claim a position at that point. Before the chicken dinner, no way was going to happen after a big fight versus Falcons in that specific spot.
Well, with what I'm seeing so far from AXTMG, I feel like we got to go into Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib hot takes, because my hot takes is, with what I'm seeing from AXTMG, I feel like they might end up going to the grand finals, and I'm hoping it continues on. Max, do you have any hot takes?
I'm not sure if it's a hot take. I think it is, personally. I think hot drops have no place in a global tournament like this.
Agreed, especially after day one. Nep?
I think A7 are going to win the next match. Back-to-back, day one. Let's go. Is that a hot take?
Excuse me?
That's a hot take.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll let it slide.
It's for me.
I wonder if Reflections is going to be maybe changing his hot take. I want to end up finding out. So you know what? Let's send it over to John Allen and Reflections.
Okay. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kadia Esports Arena. Things are kicking off quite nicely when it comes to PMWC. Alpha 7 coming off a tremendous win. We got to be watching out for them, the returning champions. But since we're 2 maps deep, I think it's now a perfect time to do our Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib's hot take, because things are starting to get spicy. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by John. And what are we seeing so far, man? Because Alpha 7, that win was huge.
That was absolutely brilliant. 2 players against so many full force squads. They held their nerve when it mattered most, and they came out on top. Let's get into these hot takes, though, all right? And I'm going to kick things off nice and strong. Maxman is going to say Team Spirit instead of Team Secret at least 10 times today. Guaranteed. That TS abbreviation, that's tricky.
It is tricky. That's why we're casters. He's not. I do question, though, why is Maxman getting so much hate? He was tied up, thrown on the couch before the pre-show, and then now you are also bullying him yourself. What's going on, man?
Hey, look, the man needs to stay humble, otherwise he'll predict teams more and more, and we all know that we do not want that to happen.
Humility. I think we all could use a little bit of humility. Alpha 7, though, I was actually coming out the gates before that win. I was going to say my hot take was they're not making it, or they're going to the survival stage. They're not just going all the way through to the finals. I got to change that. So now I'm going with Revo. I think he's going to get 50 eliminations, but can he surpass it? We'll find out.
Let's head back over to the casters.
Hello guys, we're back. You know what my hot take is that we're all really uncreative, and I agree with Reflections. We've got to stop bullying Max.
Here's my hot take. I love Maxman so much.
That's such a cold take. Everyone knows you love Maxman.
Yeah, but you know, what else am I going to say?
You're freezing right now. You're freezing cold.
Look, I just want Max to know.
You're -5.
Max, you're amazing. All right,
Stop
this
it.
is specifically for you, Max. I'm talking to you right now.
Fanboying right now.
He's so cool, though. The style, the grace, the way that he fills up the place when he walks in the building, Maxman. King of the nades, Maxman. But you know what? Let's talk about another team that delivers almost at the same caliber of Maxman. Alpha 7, that was a hell of a comeback from them. It was a good show up.
Yeah.
Right? I was worried. I was saying, like, game 1, right, looked kind of sluggish. Everyone looked sad on camera A. Least now, kind of happy on camera A. Reminiscing about the misplay with the nade, but in a positive light. All blown over, all still mates.
I threw a bit too short, you know? It's fine, we won.
My finger was a little bit sweaty, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. But he did clutch it, came home big with it, hit the straight slick 3-pointer. Everyone's living. Although, how's it going to go from here? Obviously for us, third game of the day, last game of the day for us, only the halfway point. You recap some of the things we're seeing, right? Again, global trends on this one. Point differential, not that crazy. Mid-portion cap, right? We still got a good half of the lobby that can get a bit of a shift on in this matchup. Power gaming, though, not looking great, Blank. I'll be real, and that's a shame.
They're unshimmied right now.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. And again, there are some teams here that are looking just as clean as the Mr. 7WG himself, but others, they're just not doing so hot. And I think that's going to be the base of this whole cast. It's going to be really nice to everyone and everyone.
Yeah, it's super friendly.
Yeah, we're just super chill cast. It's nice. As we head in towards our third match of the day, was a big point that we wanted to bring up, which was on that first angle that we saw there. It was a very southern playing path.
Yeah.
Forced a lot of teams to head over towards some of the backup drops that they had. Now, I do want to see something that's a little bit more central, even a vertical playing path would be pretty happy with. I want to see a clear-cut decider of where the team's going to be playing, because it is not unlikely that you have a day where all of these playing paths are really awkward towards the side of the map, or not allowing you to swing far off towards the west or the eastern side because of where they're situated over 3 matches today. And not only is that difficult for us to get a read on the players and the teams and where they're dropping, but it is really tough for the teams who are going to go home tonight and put a lot of that analytical prep that you see the caliber from Neptura, for instance.
No, it's true, dude. It's true. I think it's one of those, Blank. We're already at this point today. We're seeing some squads that are being able to thrive with more passive gameplay, some of the heads-up reads where, again, actually a good callback, like Naturo was saying, right? Like the idea of kind of getting over the hump early, where you go in, maybe force yourself into some aggressive hot drops just to see if it gets the blood pumping. Obviously, I think the term is from Moneyball, Blank. It's feed the hot hand. It's one of those that makes a lot of sense in this kind of environment, because obviously, other side of the coin, you see what's happening with Power. It ain't working right now. Yeah. It feels like they're cooling off. Colder than those takes about Maxman. Other side of the coin, you had DRX there that bided their time into an explosive finish. That's nice. It's going to amp you up. Sure, game 2 wasn't as great, but then what happens? Alpha 7 starts saying, let's play a bit more aggressive. Let's actually take fights. One of them was very aggressive.
Extremely so.
Yeah.
I think that, for a lot of our teams, like just going for things at the moment, and there's little to lose here. We've already discussed it in the case that no one's going out right now. You're either going through to the main tournament or you're heading through to that survival stage where 16 teams will be taking part. So the 24 teams will be going through. Right now is the best place to be when it comes to experimentation as we head into our match number 3 of the day. It is Erangel. We're going to have one more Erangel after this one, followed by 2 Miramars over on those Dusty Dunes, and it'll be Reflections as well as John taking you through that one. But for now, let's get right into this 3rd match. And look at that play path. Yes!
It's far more central, mate. This is what we were hoping for. Obviously, last time around threw us off a little bit with some of the hot drops we were expecting and some of the rotates we were seeing. So the secondary drops were called out. Things should be a little bit more cleanly cut here, and we'll see if there is overlap. In a weird way, again, it does actually kind of scare me if we do see Power going for the potential play that we could expect here with the hard drop. We'll see, mate. We'll see.
Heading straight back down towards Milta, but Influence Rage is going a little bit further here, so Power should be able to hold on to this one. That feels bad.
Yeah.
That Influence Rage is not going back to Milta Power despite just demolishing you in it, so it's kind of like a pity play that you've been sent your way. I am curious to see if Pachinki is held solely by Team Falcons this time around.
I like the fact, again, actually, we do get sort of the distance there from Team Secret. We do seem to be playing this far slower wick of the game. Let it burn late into the night, don't want that one to burn quickly.
Yeah.
Although I will say the problem was the minute they were actually thrown a bit of a broader sword, it was panic stations. That's where it went wrong.
Well, there was no parries.
No.
There was absolutely no parries involved there at all. Even the dodge roll looks sluggish on the side of Team Secret. Heading over towards the Popka as well, and I do have something to say about the Popka is that although decent position, it's all right. You do actually see a lot of pro teams these days like moving away from the Popka as a spot. If you can get somewhere further in towards the circle and comfortably play towards that, you take that. Even if that means holding over towards one of the west or eastern side of Yasnaya, that's fine. But yeah, we'll see how teams play this now. It is a pretty packed map already. But I think that Team Secret, after seeing that, playing in the Pop Cup means you have to push through a lot of teams just to get towards the initial circles, and those initial circles are over towards the southwest side. It cuts a lot of Sosnovka in, which is a bit of an awkward one, where you're not sure whether you'd be heading across or not. It would be cool to see a Sosnovka this early into the tournament, though, Jackie.
Yeah, it'd be fun, man. It'd be nice if we actually do get it thrown into the mix. I do love these wide splits. Sorry, just a highlight there. I know, obviously, map feed-wise, just looking at how Weibo are going to be able to rotate on this one. Nowhere near as drastic. Backline of the DRX late. But anyway, we'll focus up with what's happening here. You've initially got the POV of Alpha 7. Alpha 7, for those of you tuning in, of course, I'm sure you're aware, they are currently the crown holders, the kings themselves, who took the trophy last year in a rousing affair. Some incredible plays, back-to-back games where they were popping off. And really, it was a bit of a nail-biter towards the end of last year. Like, you know, you're thinking sort of them and Reject, like who's going to take it, which region's going to show up. Coming into this one, I was a bit worried with the result in the first game. Glad to see a massive show up, even with it just being a duo that had to get so much done. Some diligent PUBG Mobile shown from them the previous outing. How's the rest of the day going to go, though? Will Neptura's hot take become a reality? A back-to-back chicken dinner for them would instantly be the landslide of, all right, maybe it is going to happen again. Like, that's the sort of hype you want on a day one.
I think for Alpha 7 in particular, they're a team that really, when that momentum starts getting rolling, it's hard to stop them. They're very much like an avalanche in that respect. It's hard to deal with that, and if you're not careful, you are going to get covered and buried underneath the snow. Alpha 7 is going to be bringing down upon you. So I think that for Alpha 7, getting that win there, especially where it mends that relationship between Cleo and a Rebel very early on, that could have been difficult for them. But that makes you feel really good, you know, because instantly, instead of having what would have been a little bit of an annoyance, right? It's a bit frustrating. Now you have a bit more of that brotherly bond once again been stricken there in that map, which is cool. It's very cool to see, and I think that would help them. And I don't think Neptune is far off from the mark. I do think for Alpha 7, this game could easily be a good one.
No, absolutely. Even though she was smirking while she said it, the point does really reign true and could certainly have a lot of credence. And you're right, bro, you know, not cutting the cheese with the chalk. I think absolutely it's one of those where you would have been fuming with each other had you gone down on the back of that nade with
two key players as well.
Right?
Instead,
you won it, and like you say, it's brotherly love, everyone's having a good time, the boys are back in town. DRX, they were in town for a second there, but one of them has instantly been shut down. You've got the drive in from Falcons that have spotted a weakened target. Solo and isolated. Blessing from that, you do grab another vehicle off the back and get the 1 point.
Yeah, unfortunately, DRX went to town. You know, it's like a boys' night out. You're going to lose one of them eventually.
Where's he gone?
You find him at home later.
So I actually never came out. I was at home the whole time. Sorry, guys. Stayed in the plane.
The DRX down to just 3 players there. They had a good start to the day, but if you look at that, 19 points, that's all the points they earned there on Sandpot.
True.
They earned nothing on that last game, and I think that for Arangel, it's a very important map to be able to perform on, so I'd be very unhappy to see them go to Arangels with nothing to show for it. The Falcons, though, we were talking about earlier, you were talking about feeding the hot hand. I like what the Falcons are doing. I do worry a lot of times about the Falcons in terms of their more passive gameplay. I think that there are definitely moments where I think Redox and Narvalo certainly need to take a leaf out of Koa's book and just be a bit more aggressive. And it's funny that one of those passive players on this team, historically at least, Ralph is one of the players who I think has been the most influenced by Koa's gameplay. So yeah, I think that that's what I'd like to see from that team, especially here where they have the ability to experiment a lot. But it's nice to see them having just continued success.
Yeah. It's hard as well because it's a double-edged sword when you have such a really infused fan base like Falcons do, especially when we're here, right? Like we're in Riyadh, we're in Saudi Arabia, and you can see the excitement that's going on there. Everyone's cheering after they get an elim, after they make a play. Yeah. That goes both ways. If suddenly everyone goes quiet, you notice it, and you know it's for you alone.
Dude, even in PMSL EU over towards Turkey side, right? When they were playing there, they looked stressed on their bad games.
All eyes on you, bro.
They look stressed on their good games. And I think that there is a lot riding on them. There is a lot riding on them here. I think personally, if they can at least get to the top 8 after this group stage, I think they'll feel so much more comfortable. Just going straight through to the finals there and not having to deal with it, that will be the ideal scenario.
I mean, even if you think about just the fact, we were saying like, oh, everyone is literally forced to stare at Alpha 7 on a pedestal, on a plinth, literally in the arena. They were called out by name. They were there. Everyone else sees Falcons as well, separated from the rest of the squad. It makes you kind of have that animosity of, we should take them down. We should make sure, you know, that extra oomph on the other teams where some people thrive on that. Like those little elements come into your mental game. It affects how you play PUBG Mobile. Suddenly it starts to change a little bit. You see those targeted fights. it gets spicy. This is more of a story we'll develop over the course of the event. We'll see how that starts to ebb and flow, but it's just something to have in the back of your minds for the viewers at home. Weibo, I think it's been, I'd say, nice, at least in terms of the way they have been playing to their strengths. They've had some really crazy dives, crazy rotations, but they've made it work, so I can't fault it too much. It's obviously just not been the best in terms of converting it into actual placements or eliminations.
I think that there's one region that just will make those kind of plays, and it's something that I always massively adore about that region, especially that play from Sucus while he's just running up the stairs. A lot of teams just won't take the opportunity. They won't make that play. But Weibo and that region in general is one of the few regions like Americas where it's a case of we need high ground, but it's like a 90-10 scenario where I will get eliminated for doing it. But they will take that risk because they know that if they don't do it, they may as well be throwing away the game anyway. So they'd much rather take those risks early, which I think does put those teams in a much better position. And I think it's a type of squad that could get a very, very high elimination game over the course of this group stage. We'll have to wait and see. AX currently very central. We're heading around Gatka at the moment and just south of Pachinki. It's a bit more flat around this area. There is fielded area 2. You don't really want to be heading down towards Ferry Pier because you're cutting yourself off the sight lines. There's a fair amount of water in this one. We were worried that it was going to go down to Sosnovka. It didn't do that, so a lot of teams can now consider coming back up. Power, I think it's reasonable they head towards Sosnovka. It was one of the few plays they had in the back pocket on the happenstance we did go down towards that part of the map. They would have had a fantastic position. Now they've got to figure out how to get across.
Yeah, something to potentially keep your right eye on, whilst your left eye's on this side. We can touch on Hora a little bit as well. I think, again, it's one of those where they had some unfortunate encounters, like No Fear, in terms of the timing and the setup he had, it was really good cooking with the nades. You could see, like, he had his understanding down to a T, mechanics were nice. He was just hit from the side, where it was a really sick off angle for DRX back in game 1. Again, I think that's a team that potentially, if they're not sort of showing up too much, maybe you start to underestimate them, they'll find a way to start to climb, because there's a ton of talent there. They do just need the opportunity to display it. We've seen a few bits from Squash, but it's interesting, obviously, we've not really had as much opportunity to keep our eyes on him. I'm curious to see how he's going to build over the course of the event, because I feel like, again, man, it's a lot you're thrown into here, you know, like the live environment for him, you're coming in, all the pressure on, as you've got the trophy, your team won it, you've got to live up to that again this time. Showing us the moves at the minute. Vision, it's rough. It was a good start, game 1. Here, instantly isolated, you find the scout, take him down. That's E-Arena that grabbed that. With Joker showing up consistently. He's been the big dog, I'd say, so far for E-Arena.
Yeah, it looks like he's enjoying himself as well. I think for Vision, there's been a lot of times where, if I'm quite honest with you, the awareness hasn't been great.
That's fair.
Hasn't been great in terms of where they're playing. I mean, we even saw that from, I believe it was E-Arena again on the last Erangel, where they were on a split over towards the top side. They're able to just move in there and immediately isolate them. So I think for Vision, that is something that needs to definitely be improved, which is just the overall awareness around the map in terms of that scouting, because teams will be taking opportunities absolutely anywhere they can find them. These are the best teams in the world coming to the PMWC, the PUBG Mobile World Cup. Right, this is not an easy stage. It is not an easy stage to play it.
Quick shout out to the production team, by the way. Loving these transitions. They've been nice. They've been really nice. It's good setup when we do get our circles coming in. Pat on the back. You guys are killing it. Everyone is. It's been a good day so far. And of course, this is the halfway point. It's why it really starts to matter. We get a feel for how things are looking, the lay of the land, as we develop into the later portion of today's games with the zone on the move.
I think that's Toshpik actually going down there for Regnum Kai. He was a bit split off from the rest of the team, and they were making that move out down towards the south side, and I think he just gets caught on the back of that rotate. They'll still have 3 players to work with there for Regnum Kaya, which is not terrible. It's not always the best position in the world, but this is one of those spots where you take it early on the circumstance that we do get this fielded area, and this becomes actually one of the stronger positions because it is so open ground around it. That's risky playing in this corner, but he needs to get back across. I think he's worried about the sight line. Yeah, very, very worried about it. But there is so much area around here. Is that an arrow been sent his way?
It might be.
Just locking him on the door.
Yeah, this is kind of naughty. I mean, you've just got them pinned, effectively. Like, obviously, smoke wall up, try and play behind, stay tucked in, but you don't have an opportunity to aggress on it. Like, the timing on the face from the angle they've got with the high ground, you should have the shot every time.
Yeah.
Attention is somewhat split, though.
I want to know if that was Sook, because there's been a lot of talk about him actually carrying the explosive bow and arrow around a lot, just to lock players down in position. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. That was pretty terrifying there for Regnum Karya, but they can play that spot. They can certainly play that position, and it might pay dividends in the future. We'll wait and see if that investment was worth their time. For Alpha 7, though, probably wouldn't be getting away from this position on that southwest side. AX are in front of them. They'll have to bash through there. Currently, Power is struggling on this bridge. The amount of times I've seen Falak on this girder, on top of the bridge, is a lot.
It gives him so much vision as well. Ooh, okay. Nearly. Window of opportunity, obviously very slim. You've got to chicane on the push up. Trying to keep the help from the back line. Takes a bit of time before he gets the first shot back over, but the first knock is the most important. Quick reposition, got to try and get himself out of dodge. Takes the damage from the drop and the bullet from the side, so into a knock on the bridge, off the angle. Teammates now with more pressure on them. Split there, obviously incredibly awkward for Power with the distribution of squads they've got around them. It's DRX they've got on the other side as well.
I'm just not sure what Power was thinking on this one, if I'm perfectly honest with them, where playing on this edge, it's so tough. Yeah, they're getting eliminations here and there, but slowly but surely they are going down. Again, they could have played in from where Team Secret's on, where the circle was, where it encompassed Very Peer. You know there's going to be teams playing over towards Primors. There's going to be teams heading over towards Yellows. This is a situation where there's going to be many, many teams looking to lock you out over towards Lighthouse coming across that bridge. It's just an unreasonable decision, in my opinion, where they could have played it slow on the eastern side of the map. The only other thing I can think of, and I mentioned it earlier, is just that they were hoping, gambling for a Sosnovka finish. They would have been the first there, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, the odds certainly not in their favour if that was the gambit they were going for this time around. He was unlucky as well with the timing. Nearly got the pop off on the hill to keep himself alive, but Fainan going down because of it. And then Al Haji, you are a sitting duck, effectively. That's the real sort of top and bottom of it. He's just trapped in the coastline. Play zone being the additional squad that will take him down from the back. So again, Power Gaming, I think that's free for free on first squads to fall, other than obviously actually easy. Yeah, he survived as a solo, got those 2 points in the first game, but it's been rough. You're losing at least 3 players in the opening sort of, 2 to 3 minutes of each game now, minimum.
It's rough. It's really rough, and there needs to be a big change towards the end of the day. Looking at 4 Thrives, though, they're doing really well. Second place at the moment. I was asked recently who my top 3 players were, and in that top 3 I mentioned Valak because he is one of the more exciting off-angle specialists, and you saw him there even on the bridge. That's another thing I love about the player, is that when he's in that solo position where he's playing off the back of his teammates trying to set up situations, he's so safe, so cautious with it. He was never going for the full-on spray. He was happy to let his teammates find those knocks, find those eliminations, and he just had to be the enabler, essentially. So he's a very, very cerebral player. And if you're watching PUBG Mobile, you never heard of him, I'd keep your eye on him during this entire tournament.
100%, man. Nerves of steel and really handy with the steel with how he was taking those fights. This has been Vision trying to get a bit more aggro as well with a dive over towards the hut side. Isolate one player there as they get the info onto him. Quick pick up on the crate as well. Grab what he's got on him to restock themselves. Yeah, bro.
He looked lost inside that shack, like he had no business being in there, and the arena was just getting evicted. Oof. Yangdong.
They're getting secreted on right now. There's the dive over the back. Secret again, it feels like they do better when fights are on their terms. When it's suddenly thrown towards them, that's when a bit of a panic kicks in. It was a little bit awkward. They are being at least able to find some recovery from it. The zone's awful for them though, right? Consistently thrusted further forward. They have to just sprint through this, try and take it headstrong. They do win out on the fight, but with the double knock, it's going to still take some time to recover from it. Meanwhile, Weibo again. They always show up when you least expect it, and nades are raining.
Why are they on the eastern side of the map right now? There's an insane rotate from them, which I didn't even catch. They were playing down over towards that western side. Suddenly they managed to get themselves all the way over to here. Just wrapped around, and Fireflux do find them. I think they were looking for a holdout as well over towards Fireflux, but losing Suk is not ideal. Matt Cap's been an awesome addition over towards Fireflux as well. Been finding a lot of success for the team. Where Ketch is no longer as potent as he maybe was in the past, Matt Cap has been pretty phenomenal at basically bringing him back up to level. Like, both of them combined make a pretty fearsome duo.
There's been some fierce picks as well that we're seeing from the sideline there from Hora, still being able to keep themselves in a good spot in terms of the eliminations they're finding, where it's not an overcommit. So nice shots, again delivering. Fireflux, it's interesting how much we've actually seen them really being in focal points of fights that have a lot of reverberations for the outcome of the game, but it never feels like it really gives them the oomph they need. They're always on the, the wrong side of the coin.
Yeah, that's the 100. Bruised by the nade.
That wasn't a coin, that was a grenade.
Yeah, it was. That was dirty. Heading through M79, trying to lay down some smoke in the meantime. It's not going to be. Solus does hit the deck though. So does Scarface, and this is looking more and more rough. So very good shots coming through from Regnum Kaya, by the way, from that position they were talking about before. They're currently holding over towards that north side.
Shame for Secret as well. If Team Secret were looking to build and compound off the points they were able to accumulate into Game 2, it's not really going to work out as well for them here. You go down relatively early, third squad to exit stage left. It's been a massive cool-off as well over on the side of Yangon Galacticus, considering how impactful they were with that opening game. But let's dial in here with Alpha 7. Mafioso, clean connection over the top side. Wow. AX giving as good as they get. And fair play to them. It's actually been impressive how good they've looked in terms of the amount of pressure that must be on this squad. You've got to deliver. Full commit on this. Push up with the DBS. Oh, it's clean for the first, but the bite back with the moves. Ravo starting to really bring the heat towards them. You've got nades running in from the side as well. Alpha 7 with a lot of targets on them.
Ravo canonically touted as the best shotgun player in the entire world. Hard to deal with him when he's flying through the air, gliding on the back of those wings, the DBS. Only taking shots over towards you. It's 4 thrives to backstab, and Alpha 7 was stuck between a rock and a hard place there. Noki once again playing anchor down towards that south side. I think honestly 4 thrives have a very, very good position here in the circle. And Balak with 4 elims so far during this game. I do think they have a good chance here, and now taking away first place spot. Nepturo unfortunately mistaken on that call, but this is a big push coming through from Hora. And where is Silas?
Where is he indeed? Hora as well, just getting away with absolute liberties at the minute. They're going for some big commits. They're actually completely flipping it on its head of saying, oh, you're kind of playing this passive game where then you suddenly throw the heat up. The tempo control's really good for them. They're keeping the other squads guessing. It's been great fights. They're starting to find themselves opportunities for eliminations. And again, like you were saying, as much as this is great for 4 thrives, you've already been able to build up some points. Rest of the squads that in the overall rankings for the day, they're all gone. Anyone else that actually accumulated a nice amount have already been taken out. You can see it's the bottom end that is still alive with the overall points here. This could really have some chance to leapfrog you up. So this is a big game for a lot of the squads down towards the bottom side right now.
Absolutely. For AX particularly, they want to jump further up the rankings here. Horror as well. Want to show a lot of these teams what they've got to offer, but 4 thrives could bump themselves massively up in this game, getting a lead of something like 20 points on the 3rd match of the day with Alpha 7 and Yangon Galacticos being down early, and Vision's only just breaking into the 20 points now.
Laura's still going. I mean, that's Vision being completely removed, blinded by the power of Hora Esports again here. No Fear living up to his name as the rest of the squad's playing with that. Sleepy and Sky back-to-back. 8 eliminations combined between the 2 of them. Some impressive maneuvers. And we've been obviously sort of touting, 4 thrives. They're in a good spot. if AX were able to find an opportunity to get the drop on him here, sort of pick them to pieces from the sidelines with the scout setup they've got, it could be a bit of a change of pace. They've not looked too bad over the course of the day so far, but taking down a team like that would be huge for them. There's been a nice reset for 4-5s to get back up to all 4 players. That's unfortunate. You're trapped on the edge, nothing you can do. That's the last man going down, so we do wave goodbye to Fire Flux.
They've been stuck out on that eastern side for such a ridiculous amount of time. It was not easy for them, but Weibo, despite showing off some pretty cool moves around the map and having some decent rotates into position, they've just not had the staying power in these matches at all. Not been able to dig those boots in to the ground. Felt like we'll be taken down by Sky, which is, to be honest with you, the speed at which he went down, that was an unbelievable spray coming through from Sky.
Yeah, Sky's looking crisp today, dude. Like, some of the shots he's being able to find are really impressive, but it's the setup from them as well.
Found a very nice spot here on Horror. Yeah, he is the star figure on that team, but by no means is he not backed up by some of the other players on that squad. I mean, No Fear's been around for a huge amount of time, and Sleepy and Jiggle here really feel like they have melded into the team very, very well. Yeah, Horror is definitely a team to keep your eyes on.
I think maybe that's working for him as well, where it's not, you know, the whole squad sort of playing against each other whilst being a team.
Yeah.
Being set up where there is sort of, you know, no need for the ego. Everyone's happy to just set each other up, and it's working well, dude. Like, they're passing that baton brilliantly.
It's funny as well because Sky is played on like quite a lot of highbrow squads, let's say, where he has not always been the player that everyone looks towards and is like, that's the top player on that squad. So it must be quite nice to be on a team now where he is that star player, but he's still quite a humble dude. So, you know, getting set up, and he's always there looking to capitalize, help his team find that success, and this is an unbelievable position. I talked about earlier where Regnum Karya tried to pick it up early into the game, and it would have had massive success for them should they've been able to hold it versus Horror, but they just came in very, very fast over towards that position. It was super difficult. They're on the outside of the circle now, though, with Nongshim, Red Force. I think that's Binny and Tizzy currently playing in a shack of their own, and likely Horror's going to struggle unless they can start finding picks on the outside of the circle over towards AX or Influence Rage.
Yeah, it's been good shots, but it's the fact that they're not really being fully able to convert off the back of it, with the cycling of those knocks being really just stalemated. Henry here, you get the POV from the man spamming over towards the side. Good split as well from the backside. Sleepy still gets the tag back in. That's an instantaneous shot onto Henry, and they really do just take him out instantly. Good read of the lay of the land as well. So Arian's trapped behind the vehicle. Bullets coming in from the side. 4-5 still trying to keep themselves involved in these encounters and snatch points where they can.
Cyrix tried to edge his way down towards 4-5, but was immediately shut down there. Henry, I think, was on 12 bullets left in the next magazine, so wasn't a lot at all. That's 3 loot crates, by the way, that I can see on the map there. And those could comfortably create some cover, but the speed at which Horror's going to have to set up this flying V is going to have to be very, very quick. Horror sends out, though, and no one's currently taking shots. Binny and Tizzy are currently encapsulated in smoke. One goes down, but it will be Arian to go down next. And Horror efficiently gets themselves over there, but can they get their player back up again?
4-5s have been doing what they've been doing for so long here as well. The minute there's an opportunity set up by someone else, that's when they capitalize from it. So AX open up the fight. You see the weakness there on Horror. They come in for the sideline sweep, get some damage in. Nonshin Red Force as well, finding an opportunity to get one shot in from the back, and that's all they really needed. It's fragmented the squad. They go down from having 4 members looking really clean to just 2 isolated split on them.
I think it's good, though. Honestly, if I'm fully analyzing this, Horror makes a sacrifice and it pays off for them. Yes, they lose 2 players, but given that moment, it gave time for both No Fear and Sky to get further into the circle. Such an important moment for them where it actually could have gone really, really wrong. And that's what you want from teammates. Teammates who are ready to make the ultimate sacrifice for you in-game to allow you to get a little bit further, a little bit more points on board. Beautiful stuff.
That's what I mean, the lack of ego. You see it there. Everyone's playing for the big picture. They're not worried about the stats. They're worried about the placements. They're worried about how it results overall for their tournament run. That's a brilliant way to think about it. You've got the late backstab potentially from Influence Rage. I mean, that's Law, the solo member, with Red Force trapped, living on borrowed time inside the hut. Near miss from the nades as well, dashing them towards them. 4 Thrives have been able to play on the back foot for quite some time, wait for everyone else to come towards them. Now they do have to advance somewhat. Horror, of course, with those 2 players, like we said, still could have influence. The quick trades are made. 1 shot back over 4 Thrives, taking issues. Shin go down. Farlak with the quick shot back over. That's No Fear out of action. And Law still just belly crawling further forward. I mean, look at the split here. A chance for at least a sneak into that 2nd place.
He had the 1 nade and the 1 Molotov, so could have actually efficiently cleared out 4 Thrives, but 12 eliminations, now looking for the 10-point. Bobs up just as he gets res there, and that could have been absolutely treacherous for them. And now nade's getting sent over the top, and it's unbelievably placed. Coming through from 4 Thrives, taking them to a 24-point game.
Massive scenes. Brilliant teamwork, never over-egging it as well. So comfortable playing their own game and always following up. If someone else went in for a fight, they were ready to clean up, ready to engage. Good rotates on it, and they're going to be happy with that one, but that is a massive gainer.
It's huge. You were talking about it as well, where you were saying that a lot of our top teams were just out early, and it was really only 4 Thrives still going there. I think off the back of that game, they're up to 43 points, if I'm not mistaken, which is a really big result. And again, a lot of the top teams went out fairly early. I think they're right now looking at around about a 20-point lead at least over a fair few of our squads there. But Horror was another story during that match, looking really, really good. Egoless team. And again, it was not only that, but just really good reads as well.
Yeah.
You saw Binny and Tizzy, they both smoked out their compound to stop players from peeking or sending shots in. In that moment, the boys
Pulsar Legionnaire available now. First outfit with special head animations and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or off.
What happened? Bye, friend. Hello, Earth. I'm here.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR and Jet Reaver glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new Guild set now.
We start off our day in the Kadia Players Lounge, where they come for rest, relaxation, and refueling. And we have this gorgeous Kadia photo booth, of which we have
much from the start, put in easy mode. Even though it was not quite that easy a game, I just like that fight in particular was normally making it a bit hard for them back in CSA. But the control they had with Falak on the beams, able to clear all of power, man, 4 Thrives, I was scared them going into Global after CSA. How are they going to perform? All of my doubts have been already cleared that they know what they're doing. They have a game plan here coming into PMWC.
Yeah, I mean, from the interview that I was able to do with Falak, that player is just oozing confidence, saying we're not really feeling any type of pressure. Everybody has experience, and that is showcased here in that last match. 24 points, 14 eliminations, being able to back it up there with the win. On top of that, you have Hora Esports, CSA pretty much just taking over Neptuna.
They really are. I mean, we love to see it, right?
Yeah, and again, it's very top heavy. All for CSA, look at that, 24,
hey,
16, 10, and then 7 and 5 and down below. So,
I mean, yeah, Influence Rage, kind of the silent partners there, even though they got the double elims. We didn't see too much of them. But yeah, 4 Thrives and Hora coming in clutch there. Some really, really strong performances. Hey, I thought Hora were going to win the whole thing. I really did. But we can get onto that later.
No. Let's get into it now.
Get into it now? Okay. Hora overextended. If they had pushed over onto that player of AXTMG as they should have, then yeah, I think that would have been really, really good for them. They drive to the player, take out that player, take that player's position, and then they have full control of that northern side. They should have won the game there.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it them overextended. I think they just mispicked the right location to go for that overextension. If you go for the player of AXTMG, as you mentioned, they have already a car. They can crash it into the car of that one player of AXTMG. You have a little bit of a mini fort, and then there's no way Falak is going to be able to just shut you down in the process. So it was a good idea, but I think there was a slight mispick as what position you want to go for, because if they do secure that, you have a solid 2-2 split. You're fully controlling all of the fields. 4 Thrives can't really encroach on your terrain anymore. I think it would have been a Nepali win. I know CR7 during the watch party would have loved to get that win here for his team, but maybe later. Okay, it'll happen.
He's going to be happy. You know what? Match ranking, they were second, being able to clutch up a lot of points too. That's what you want to be able to do for some of these teams, because remember, there's going to be one group at the end of day 3 for group stages that's not going to be playing, so you might as well just be able to do as much as you can. Now, I want to rewind a little bit, Max, towards phase 2 of 4 Thrives. They were doing that 2-2 split. You were mentioning them. They're taking advantage of APG not being here.
Yeah, really, they're just, oh, well, we know we're not going to have to fight Alpha Gaming at the start of this match. Let's just go for this very passive 2-2 split. No one's going to really try and contest it early on. If it goes back to military, we regroup south. If it goes north, which ended up happening, we'll send it back up north, have a very easy transition, hold on to Lighthouse, hold on to the gas station, hold on to the warehouse. They almost had too big a split, but because they're so experienced around this kind of terrain, they're just like, we know what we're doing.
I mean, 9 times out of 10 in CSA, what we saw from them was them holding that exact position. So they absolutely know what they're doing when it comes to that. But I actually really liked the split. I can see what you're saying. It was like almost too much, but I think the control they had, the control that they garnered from actually doing that, made sure that they had so much info, they knew exactly how to play the next few phases.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the next plays they did after, I think you want to talk about their third party on Alpha 7 and XTMG, because that was a beautiful play from 4 Thrives.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was playing to their strengths. If you're a team, as a team, you want to play to your strengths. Not every team knows how to do that. So for me to see that, to see them go, oh, A7, AXTMG, they're popping off. They're going at each other really heavily. We need to third party that, use that our strength, and then to not overdo it and not go over to AXTMG. Just take A7 and go, okay, we're done. We're going to go back. Really, really well thought out from them.
I mean, one player that absolutely popped off for 4 Thrives, and I mentioned it. I'm glad I mentioned it right before. I was like, the best player of Pakistan ever, Falak, popping off with 7 eliminations, 1,000 damage.
Okay.
Okay.
He's cooking. More than that.
Jantasho.
Oh, yeah, big time. We'll have to learn how to say in Pakistani. We might need to need it for Falak in particular.
Yeah.
In the chat, tell us. We'll need a little bit of help, guys. But 7 eliminations, playing early on as the gatekeeper of the bridge, on the beams, trying to eliminate all of power. Luckily enough, he did get rezzed by one of his teammates who was able to play until the late game, but he was not giving up any angles. If he saw you, chances are you're living for 5 seconds maximum. Falak is being ruthless here in PMWC, and we're just 3 games in. He's off to a great start.
Absolute eagle eye, right? And the thing is that this is usually what you want to see out of your star player, Neptune. You want him to be able to put up stats just like that.
You absolutely do. I think it was a really, really good thing coming in from him. You know, we were talking to him. He was very confident, as you said. That confidence is starting to show. It's not being the overconfident. It's just really confident. And his team is backing him up like a champ. I mean, they have got that synergy down. So it's really, really exciting to see them coming out of here.
Yeah, and you said they're confident, but they're also very respectful of this lobby. You talked about the third party with Alpha 7 and XTMG. They take Alpha 7, eliminate them. XTMG, that's maybe a bit too much. You know what? We're just going to take it back. And a lot of teams might have just fully committed and pushed in like, oh yeah, we're just feeling pretty good after eliminating Alpha 7. No, they go back. We have a strong position. We're going to play it safe. I like when a team can be both respectful and aggressive. That is the true mark of a champion in my eyes.
One team that I do got to give a shout out to that you just mentioned was AXTMG. This team is not shying away from fighting top dogs. That was the big question mark. Is AXTMG, with the lack of global experience that they have, are they going to be crumbling? Is everybody just going to be stepping over them? That's not the case so far.
No.
They're willing to take those fights, and they're willing to take them quick too. And one thing that we saw is whenever they go into close range, it can actually go their way too.
It can absolutely go their way. My big concern with them was their speed. I thought that they are actually a very slow team compared to the rest of the lobby, and that actually they've stepped up massively. They've seen that, oh, this is where our weak point is. This is where we could fall down and get overrun. They have stepped up massively in that regard. So really, really nice show from them.
Yeah, you were scared about the rotates. I was a little bit more scared about their DBS game because as a region that hasn't played globally for a long time, he has the special invite team. I was like, is your DBS and S12K game on point? And I was talking to Ocean Sharma. He said, it's good, but I was like, is it good enough? Well, clearly it has been good enough for some of the fights, like in Ruins on Sanok, for example. So that's a doubt that's kind of gone away for XTMG. Seems like they can back it up. And I do also enjoy how they played this game. They knew they weren't going to win this match.
Yes.
After that encounter with Alpha 7, we're not going to win this. We're going to play it passive. Let's try and aim for top 3 with a few eliminations. That is really nice to see when a team understands we're not taking this. Let's just gather as many points as humanly possible.
I mean, and that's the player, right? Just gather as many points as you can. But let's take a look at the overall as we're halfway
what a lead.
Day 1. 4 Thrives, 43 points. 4 Esports, 25.
4 Thrives, chill.
I'm cleaning my glasses just to make sure I'm reading that right, and it is. That is a healthy lead for 4 Thrives.
It's what you want to see in the group stage, right? When you know you have a day off at some point over the next 2 days, right? It's either tomorrow or the last day. You want to get as many points as possible today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at DRX in particular. If we're going to go on a negative quickly on the first game, they got 10 placement points. They have 1 chicken dinner. Quick math, that means 0 points back-to-back on their angle. This is the map you have the most every day, DRX, okay? You are the Korean team. You have the Korean champions here, normally of D plus Kia. You're replacing them at PMWC, kinda. We need to see more, and unfortunately, outside of Sanok, nothing's been happening as you go to the second page here. Quite a few SEA teams in E-Arena in particular.
When we're talking about teams that we need to see more out of, one that just pops into my head right away is Weibo Gaming. The hype that this team had, I was on that hype train too. Right now, they're just not being able to put up any points, Neptura.
I think it's just kind of odd, but I do wonder if maybe, I mean, day number 1 is all about kind of adapting, so maybe we're going to see some better rotations, but also they've just not really been in play at all.
Sook didn't find a bow yet. That's wait.
Oh,
Just
that's
wait.
right.
You'll
That's
find
true.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I can't wait. Let's send that over to Barton because I want to see what's going to be happening here in Erangel in the next match.
Welcome back to the Gadia Arena, where we are halfway through our first day of the group stage. But don't worry if you're only just joining us, because I'm here to break down everything if you might have missed it. Game 1, we had Sandhawk, and we opened up with a bang because AXTMG hot dropped right next to Nongshim Red Force. AXTMG came out on top in that fight, but ultimately at the end of the map, it was indeed DRX that went up against Team Falcons in a 4v3. DRX came out on top in that fight and managed to secure the first chicken dinner of the competition and 19 points. Next up, we had Erangel. Erangel kicked off from the start. Team Secret were looking strong, holding the east side of the circle and ultimately not letting anyone come in behind them. However, it was Alpha 7 who had one thing on their mind, and that was survival, with the duo of Carrillo and Revos reviving each other constantly throughout that entire map and ultimately defeating Team Secret in the final fight and securing 20 points for them. Map number 3 started off a bit slower, a bit cleaner, because it was indeed a lot of people switching up their drops, as I am lowered down in the stage. And 4 Thrives have to have an honorable mention for having such an impressive day, taking out Alpha 7 as well and managing to secure their first chicken dinner with 14 eliminations. What a first day we are through so far, but we're only halfway, 3 more maps to go. So let's hear some energy in the arena, because we're going to go into our next map very soon.
There it is. We are halfway through. That's the important talking point. Halfway through today's maps, number 4 of 6. We hop back into Erangel, as Neptura said at the beginning of the show. That should be the bread and butter for multiple teams. However, it hasn't been. But we do have some top More importantly, I love military, but most likely going over to the mainland. But I do want to focus in as we've got two teams maybe about to skirmish out over on military. Of course, talk about Fireflux, and you got Team Secrets most likely going to be running into each other. They could have a truce. Maybe they say, hey, you go over to the right side bridge, we'll take over to left, and we'll just go our own way. But if I'm Team Secret, I've been on fire today. I'm not going to be intimidated by anybody. And you want to talk about being on fire? Fireflux is quite literally there in the top 3 running. So I'm looking at them to potentially be one of the front runners in the engagement. Who knows? We'll see how it ends up unfolding. What else do we see?
At the moment, it looks like Team Secret might just be heading out to the east, disengage. West and East bridges both available still. At the moment, it doesn't seem like too much more is unfolding. I feel like George Pole is potentially a little bit of a hotspot for contest on this northwest side. 2 teams in South George, Alpha 7 up in North George. That crossing down south that, because of this first circle, is going to happen for Alpha 7, could be under duress, could be a little bit of conflict in their future.
Yeah, but you got to think about who they're going against, right? E-Arena, who, well, let's face it, they've been struggling, only sitting at 8 points, currently in 13th place, and Alpha 7 being the top dogs they are. Winning that game, by the way, game 2 with 2 players was phenomenal. I could not believe my eyes. You actually called it early. I wasn't a believer until the very end, but able to get, 4 to 5 revives overall. It was Revo and Korea who was able to get that win. So if I'm E-Arena and, of course, having to rotate down, I've got to go against Galacticos. That's not going to be an easy fight for either of those rosters. So for Alpha 7, I'm still favoring them, but you're right. I think we will have a skirmish soon.
They could always break out further to the east, right? There is always that option to go for a wide swing, but depending on the pace that they can loot, the pace that they can get out of North George, they may be able to avoid that altogether. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Team Secret, they did move all the way over to Novo. This is on the military island right now on your screens. They did move out east, so no conflict here for the time being. The question I have is, where are Fireflux going to rotate? I expect Team Secret to be going over the east bridge. Sure. I'm wondering if Fireflux are going to try and join them, because you're going to be aware that 4 Thrives are going to be on the other side of that bridge. And right now, I don't feel like you want to head towards this team.
I don't think so. 4 Thrives, they're obviously the top dogs for a reason. Will they be the top dogs by the end of this tournament? Who knows? But right now, they are undisputably the best with more than double the points, even over second, which is Hora. But I would think so, though. You know, for Fireflux, I would go to the right side bridge alongside that at Team Secret. But then you have Power over there, too. And Power, I don't know. There's no reason for them to go too deep into the zone as of yet. Bridge camp potential, you think?
It could be. I mean, it does potentially waste a little bit of time. It looks like 4 Thrives are going to disengage from that bridge position over towards a more central location, up towards that hill ridge that sits further north. But there's always time to come back as well. We'll have to see if that yo-yo comes through. And actually, Yangon Galacticos on the move. Okay, so that opens the door for Alpha 7, which was potential for them to find that path on in. Getting very, very central, nice and quickly. Into 5 minutes in the game, and already finding a central spot. Rekukaya looking to do the same.
Yeah, taking a little bit of damage, but they're going to be just fine for the time being. This is a team that was much hyped up coming into PMWC, a team that needs to start gathering points. As we said, we're on our halfway point. Only 9 more games remain. Yeah, you've got 3 days of group stage, but the teams only play 2 of those days, a total of 12 games. 3 are already gone. With the point race being as close as it currently is, I know they're in 12th place, I should say, but they can easily jump right up with how close it is all the way up to top 8. And, well, DRX on your screen, a team that ended up starting off the day hot with the winner chicken dinner. They're currently in 6th place. It's going to be nice and quiet for the time being.
Yeah, just bunkering down right now. Early circles, keeping it chill, keeping the nerves in check. Something that I would love to see is like heart rate monitors coming.
Yes, we need that.
That would be really sick. Although to be fair, 64 heart rate monitors, that sounds like a nightmare.
Absolutely.
To be honest. But either way, I mean, it'd be so interesting to see how these players are affected by it. Obviously, early game, you're expecting some low tempos, but you can imagine it goes through the roof in those final moments.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're Revo and Carrillo in the final moments, just super chilling.
You know, Alpha 7 is one of those teams that are just always so relaxed, it seems, and you got to appreciate that. I think that owes to their success. Falcons getting active, which good on them, the home team. I know the crowd's been going crazy for Team Falcons, as you would expect. A lot of the crowd set up actually right behind the Falcons roster, so they're hearing the loud roars every single time they pop off. For Team Falcons, they were center zone. Of course, they've got a lot of teams around them, but I do believe where they're currently at is, again, they're going to be chilling. Not a lot of teams want to fight at the moment. They'll do it if they have to, but for now, it's all about positioning into stage 2.
Absolutely. For the Falcons, they came into this tournament obviously as the winner of their region, coming in from Europe and qualifying through there. They won via a smash ruling. So if you want to take a look at that, make sure you go and check it out. But not yet, because we've still got more game to play. Unfortunately, it felt like some of the time, especially during the earlier stages of that tournament, they weren't quite as cohesive as they need to be to take on the global levels. They moved into the finals, and it felt like they had pieced it together, right? At the moment, they've got Redox, Koa, Narvalo, Ralph playing on the roster. It felt like sometimes there was a little bit of disarray in and amongst the roster, but right towards the end, they did show up. I was worried coming into this tournament that those early stages would come back and that performance would recur. For now, it seems like they're holding their nerve. There have been 1 or 2 missteps today in some pretty crucial moments, but I think for now, I'm pretty happy with where they're sat, up in 9th place, 18 points. They've got this first point on board as well.
Yeah, it's day 1, right? Since only 3 games in. We talk about teams struggling, but you know, right now it's time to get your feet underneath you, get used to the LAN environment. There are several players out there, this is their first LAN, and it hits differently, right? When you're playing at home, you're nice and comfortable, there's no pressure virtually, you're feeling okay. When you come to the LAN experience, you got crowds yelling at you, maybe booing you, maybe cheering you. You got a mix of emotions. For Team Falcons, I think they're doing just fine, and you talked about their progression. Well, we need to see progression from so many different rosters, and honestly, for me, Alpha 7, I wasn't happy with their America's performance, I really wasn't, but I think that narrative's out the window. I'm feeling good. We shift now to mainland, and now we get to see Forthrise. They're going to gatekeep, of course, one of the rosters going across.
Fireflux are already trying to make their way through, but this eastern side is really heating up around Potato Hill. You've got Aura trying to make their way on through. Power leading the charge from that side of the map. Influence Rage going for a wide sweep out towards the north. The question is, where are they going to cut in? Are they going to go all the way out? Maybe challenge Alpha 7. There's potential there, depending on how far they go. They know they'll be on a home ground fight, right? Influence Rage versus Alpha 7. These two rosters will be familiar with one another. Yeah. They could have a little bit of an edge in this fight potentially, or the same could be true on the other side.
Influence Rage on your screen. Been happy with this roster through America's second place. They played so very, very well. In fact, even outdoing that of Alpha 7 during the PMSL Americas season. Well done from them. They've not done too bad. I know they're in 10th place, but again, that point gap, that point spread is just so incredibly close. When we're talking 4 points from going from 10th up to top 5, right? So for Influence Rage, happy they're going to be on the dead side of the zone in the north. I'm very curious how that's going to end up paying off for them. I want to see them make a deep run. I feel like Influence Rage is a roster. They've been around. We've talked about them on the global stages before, but this is the year I think they're truly going to show what they're made of.
I would hope so, but it seems like they have always been the little brother of the region, right? They are there, they're powerful in their own right, but they just haven't been able to take that next step. Maybe they'll find that development here, but I feel like with Big Brother's Alpha 7 in the lobby, it's going to be hard to try and take that fight.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great point, right? When it comes to Americas, it was a